Warning, incoming dad joke. Warning, incoming dad joke.
Hey, Mark, what
Hey.
does a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
I don't know, Tito. What?
They're both Paris sites.
Ha!
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
It looks like a pink nightmare. Christmas has a Yule log. Not a log, I don't have a log, but it's...
All that I have, all that I've learned, everything I feel, all this and more I bequeath you, my son.
Your father was Frankenstein, and your mother was the lightning.
We named the dog Indiana.
I am your father.
Who coughed during that intro? My God. Good evening, all, and welcome to another action-packed episode of Three Geeky Dads, the show that has everyone saying, well, it's a podcast, I know that. I am Mark, and with me, as always, are the two guns for my one for each here.
Derek.
And Brian.
And completing the team is the Winston Zedmore to our three Ghostbusters, Tito.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Tito. Hey, speaking
That's
of
the one I've
Tito-
been waiting for.
Winston.
This is a
Ghostbusters.
I think
special
I've been,
one.
yeah, if there's a steady paycheck involved, I'll believe anything.
There's no
you say.
paycheck whatsoever. Believe what I say, though.
Tell them about the Twinkie, Mark.
I'll tell you. Speaking of Tito and the Twinkie,
It goes up and down.
it's creamy in the
that's
middle.
later.
If you've been following
Ew.
us religiously, and why wouldn't you, you'll know that he's been on board this show now for over a year, and we are celebrating his joining of the team with a month of Tito picks all this January. And tonight we continue this month-long salute to the man who has all the girls saying, well, compared to the other three dads, he's the most doable, as we take a look at another
They're not
movie of
wrong.
his choice list, 2011's The Raid, or The Raid Redemption, whichever one you prefer. But before we smash through the door of this action-packed flick, all guns ablazing, well, who can raid on an empty stomach? No one. That's what our own Brian Rice-A-Roni Ramsey has whipped up, and I'm going to say that again. That's why our own Brian Rice-A-Roni Ramsey has whipped up another appetizer to start us off. Whipped, I say.
Whip.
Whipped.
Give me a scotch, I'm starving.
I like it.
You should.
Thank you,
I'm
Mark.
awesome. Yeah, you're welcome.
So tonight, Tito, our curator of cool, has handed us another one of his favorite films for us to take a look at. This week, as Mark said, we're looking at The Raid Redemption, an Indonesian action flick written and directed by a Welshman. This 2011 film tells the... Shut up, Mark. I can see you out of my peripheral vision.
He runs like a
was
Welshman, doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
Salt and pepper.
This 2011 film tells the deadly and bloody tale of an elite police task force trying to infiltrate a high-rise building run by a ruthless drug lord in the slums of Jakarta. And they do it in the only way they know how. But first, punctuation is important. But first, we have an appetizer where we geeky dads want to take a look at a few of our favorite cinematic brawls, dust-ups, drag-downs, tussle skirmishes, altercations, or slapfests. In other words, bring it on!
Nice.
All right, Derek, you went last week, so Brian, technically,
We
it's
all
your
went in
turn.
last week.
We all get a
We
turn
went,
all the
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60% of the time it works every time.
50% of this game is 90% mental. Tito, as the great Sean Mann said.
All right, so
see,
I just
can
want to know,
quote-
how are we doing it? We
Go,
each have
Derek,
multiple picks.
Derek, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Are we
Well,
going to do one at a time around the horn?
Let's do one of it. I like when we do one at a time.
Oh, all right,
We'll
let's
go
do
around.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Start us off.
I don't like it.
All right, so you want me to
It's all
start off?
you, yeah.
I'm sorry, Tito. I think you might already have this on your list, but I'm going for top of my list was Captain America, the Winter Soldier's elevator fight scene. The word is out that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been long infiltrated by the evil organization known as Hydra, and Cap realized that who he thought were his friends and allies have been working for the bad guys all along. On his way out of the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, Cap finds himself in an elevator surrounded by guards and quote-unquote allies when he utters the words, "Before we start, does anyone want to get off?"
Great line.
The amazing battle begins as Cap struggles to fight his way out of the building to safety.
Great scene.
Nice.
It is a
That's
great
my
scene.
backup. It is one that I was thinking
Okay,
about,
all
but
right.
no, that's fine.
That's
That's,
an
a
awesome
Cool.
phenomenal scene.
I thought I had stepped all over yours
No,
when I
it's
heard you
great.
mention it earlier. I was
Such
like,
the
shit.
close quarters and
Oh, I love it. Love it. So claustrophobic.
Yeah.
So great.
great action scene.
Yep.
they do a lot with a tight space, so it actually looks bigger than it is.
It really is.
Watching
Yeah,
it.
it's like the TARDIS of elevators.
Yeah, right. Because there's like 7 guys in there with them.
More than that.
Yeah,
I think more than that. Because
like
each floor, they stop at least like 4 floors, and more guys, and more guys, and more guys
Clown
get
car
on.
action scene,
A
man.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great
Cap's right in the middle of it. And
one of my favorites.
starts to notice one guy's sweating, and he sees another guy like kind of like his hand is
Yeah.
hovering over the
little stun.
Yeah, the
Ron
his gun.
Rumlow's on the elevator with them, right?
Yeah,
Ron
he is.
Rumlow's in
Yeah.
that scene too with them?
Yep.
You know, out of
I'm a Frank Grillo
context,
fan.
this whole conversation sounds very dirty.
A little
Whole
bit.
thing.
Yeah.
Sweaty men,
Sweaty
7
men.
at a time.
Yep.
Tight quarters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tight quarters, grappling each other.
Getting hot in here.
Wow.
I'm cramming.
Going
That's
down.
my line, Tito.
Going down.
Going down.
Oh, good morning,
We're
Mr.
going
Tyler.
around the horn this way.
You're
Yeah.
so sir. Have a nice day, sir.
So this is
Derek Droopy Reynard, ladies and gentlemen.
a scene from one of my favorite movies ever. I think it's quite possibly the greatest movie ever made. It's Inigo versus the Man in Black from The Princess
Oh,
Bride.
nice.
That's a good one.
It has this
Good
phenomenal, monologue that Inigo gives,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get ready to fight, and then they just start commenting on each other's style of swordsmanship.
And just like
Phenomenal.
the interplay between them at the beginning when he's like giving him all the time to get ready.
Yeah, right,
And he
right.
sits down and he actually has time to like empty like all the rocks and sand out of his shoes and
He wants a good fight.
Very respectful.
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
unfortunately, like Inigo in that moment is
Ready
like,
or not,
I'm going
you've
to
been
win.
more than fair.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to win this fight, so
Yeah.
whatever, take as much, and then he loses. That's the thing that always got me about this movie is like, Inigo spent 20 years of his life learning how to become the greatest swordsman that ever was, and this fuck shows up and beats him.
Wesley's such
And
a
it only
Mary
took
Sue.
him- and it only took him a few years to get that good.
Then he goes and learns the piano, and Al Pacino breaks his hands.
But always one of my favorite fight scenes.
Agreed.
Cool.
I remember seeing that in the theater for the first time, just blown away at how amazing it was.
Oh, it sounds like a good date.
That too.
This is how they're all going to be?
I saw that.
You wish.
Or how could you make your sexual mark? Come on,
Farm boy.
farm boy.
Farm boy.
Pitch that pitch up.
Get down there and flick that bean.
when Boba Fett,
I knew
Fett
one
said-
of them was going to lose it with that.
when Boba Fett said "as you wish," Vader realized he was actually saying "I love you."
All right, Mark.
That's disgusting.
What do you got up?
You people are dirty, and I like it. All right, my first one is the shootout scene with all the drug lords and the crow. He jumps on
Nice.
the table.
Great
All the head
scene.
honchos are getting ready for Devil's Night. They're loading up their guns. There's tons of cash and all kinds of shit on that table. And along comes Brandon Lee. Gentlemen! Just sits right on that table. There's a little interplay between him and Top Dollar. And then he says that great line, well, I see you made your decision. Let's see you enforce it. And it's just balls to the wall action for the next, there's got to be at least, 10 minutes? Maybe
It's a
not
pretty
that
long
much. It's a
scene.
long
Yeah.
scene.
I think a
Filmed
lot of people
beautifully.
thought that was the scene he died in.
No, Michael.
No.
It's not. Yeah,
the
yeah,
fun
yeah.
boy
I think
scene.
you're the one who corrected me
Well,
on that.
probably. I'm always right.
But it was always a speculation. I was like, oh, it had to have been that scene. But that's
most
an
people thought
awesome
that.
scene.
It's so good.
He's just getting lit up with bullets. And
Yeah, and then he
pops
gets
back
the
up.
sword because Top Dollar's got that collection of swords. He grabs one and says, "You're all going to die." It's just phenomenal, and it looks beautiful, and everything about that scene's great. Derek,
I'm going to go a tight quarter one for my first pick as well, Brian. I'm going to go with Kill Bill 2, The Bride versus Ellie Driver.
Nice.
excellent
And the
choice.
camper.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's a fantastic fight. The two of them going at it, and not like that. And thank God, because no one wants to see Daryl Hannah.
Sure, I do.
But
I do.
yeah, and then she loses her second eye in the end, and
the
she
eye
leaves
patch
her in there with the snake.
And with the black mamba.
Yeah, like really, really great.
It's
especially
angry
for-
too. Like everything's getting
Very angry.
destroyed.
Yeah, you
and
like
fucking-
you
yeah,
feel
they're
the
going to town.
hatred that Ellie has for the bride. So it's very well done and
Yep.
very
Yeah.
well acted, very well choreographed and filmed. Everything about it.
Yeah, and then once she realizes that she's the one who kills Pai Mei,
Yeah.
then it's just like it's fucking on.
Yep. Yes. Yes, that's right.
Those movies are so good. Lousy mermaid.
Which is great. That's why she doesn't even kill her. She's just
Yeah.
fucking, I'll just pluck your other eyeball out of your head. 'Cause I
Yeah.
can do that too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm just gonna leave you here to die. It was just the greatest. She's just screaming. She walks out of the camper and she's just
I
screaming.
know she's flipping her shit.
Yeah.
Oh, me again.
Coming up with your second one now.
All right.
Back to you.
Still typing. So I'm going with, for my second one, Evil Dead. Ash fights himself in Evil Dead Part 2. Ash's hand is possessed. Never mind the Deadites. Here comes Ash's hand. And that little bastard has some killer moves up its sleeve.
Hey.
With equal parts violent brutality and laugh out loud slapstick comedy, this is the scene that made me, little old me as a youngster, an instant fan of the Evil Dead franchise, Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi films.
Groovy.
This, I actually remember catching this very scene on HBO late at night, turning it on randomly, and it's this. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is absolutely everything I want to see. It's brutal, it's bloody, it's funny. It had me laughing, and I was shocked at the brutality, and Ash deals with himself the only way he knows how. He takes a chainsaw and lops that little sucker off.
I lopped it off.
I didn't see these, I think, until I was in my late 20s, maybe. Like, I was super late.
I was probably in my late teens when I caught it.
I saw
I
it
saw
super
it
late.
hanging out with him.
It was me.
Oh, yeah?
And I saw it in my 20s. But same reaction, Brian. Totally.
I don't think this was the first Bruce Campbell movie I saw. But
Me
I
too.
saw him in some things, and I was like, I like Bruce Campbell. Why
Yep.
have I never seen these movies?
Yep.
I love him. He's great.
And I watched one, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I watched two, and I was like, oh, this is why everybody likes two.
2 is
Nice.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a better one.
2 is definitely awesome. I always prefer the original,
I know you do.
but
I didn't see them in that order.
2 is, I would say it's better made for sure.
I was
And more
introduced to part
entertaining.
2, and then I went back
Yeah.
and saw part 1. I'm like, it's kind of the same movie.
That's more the crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
That one is definitely more the
Yeah.
crowd pleaser and more exciting to watch.
So I'm always a fan of part 2 first.
They're both
And I
awesome.
absolutely love,
And I love Army of Darkness.
Army of
And I
Darkness.
love the
Yeah.
show.
I think I might have saw
yeah.
that first. Army of
Ash
Darkness.
versus the Evil Dead was
Oh, that
wonderful.
Hilarious.
Do we
Very
talk?
good
Have
show.
we talked Evil Dead on? The
No,
show?
we're going to have to do an entire
Yeah, we should
show
do an
on
Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead
thing.
sometime because I will be right up
We
there.
got to get
with-
more.
Well,
picks
the new
going.
one's coming out, so
That's right. What's it called?
perfect. Rise.
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 Evil Dead
Evil Dead
Rise.
Rise.
Evil Dead Rise,
Yeah.
which, like this movie, takes place in an apartment building.
Yes.
So-
yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Ah.
see, tying it all together.
That would be cool. My second pick is the Sherlock Holmes bare knuckle boxing
nice.
scene from the first one. Discombobulate.
I
You
love
never
that.
seen it?
I have not.
Oh my God!
Oh, Mark,
it's worth it for that scene.
Yeah.
I just watched that scene.
Okay.
So essentially, what?
So this is a scene that
it's a
would
scene where
make
he-
me stop and watch the movie.
I absolutely
right.
yes.
All right. See, I pay
Yeah.
attention, Derek.
So I love Guy Ritchie movies, and this was really good. I was really into it, but I don't watch it as much anymore. But if that scene is on, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And he's basically, I don't know. You've never seen Sherlock Holmes break down something so awesomely before because it's the fight. So
Well, you never
basically-
seen him fight either.
You never see him fight.
Yeah.
So he essentially lays out exactly what he's going to do in slow motion, and then it cuts back to the beginning of the fight, and he does everything he just said he was going to do
full speed.
in real time. Yeah,
Yeah.
full speed. It's awesome. And at one point, he claps the guy's ears and he says, "Discombobulate." It's very similar. It has similar kind of style, like Snatch and the kind of the boxing
Brad Pitt,
matches.
yeah.
with Brad
Snatch I have
Pitt,
seen,
that kind
yeah.
of bare
Agreed.
knuckle style.
Which is
and
another
kind
Guy
of film.
Ritchie,
Yeah,
so
right.
that
And
makes-
those kind of slow motion moments. But yeah, just done in a really smart and cool way and really interesting. I absolutely love that fight scene. Eat it.
What's your next
Did you
scene?
just say eat it?
Eat that scene. Eat that scene up.
I just said I would eat the scene, or just
Yeah.
eat it because you
Eat
haven't
it.
seen
Life, whatever. You decide.
it. I don't appreciate this.
Take a bite. Take a bite of something.
backhanded
Just
comments.
Eat something.
They make no eat
You're
it.
wasting away, Mark. You
All
gotta
right.
eat something.
Thank you. You've noticed. Number 2, the Sanford showdown toward the end of Hot Fuzz.
Nice.
But quite frankly,
love it.
the
Oh,
last
good.
20 minutes of Hot Fuzz is just
Yeah.
a brilliant,
Yeah, it is.
Freaking think of that.
fucking
Yep.
awesome action
Me too.
scene.
And
the fact that it's an homage to action movies is one thing, but they pull off one of the best action scenes I have seen in my life.
I'm just
This-
watching all
all
these
the
old
old
people just
people
all of a
with
sudden
guns.
like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All these distinguished British actors
Yeah.
like saying fuck off and they're holding semi-automatics and shit. That is a fucking awesome scene. And I love how he rides into town on a horse and check out his horse.
with the two shotguns.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his back.
Oh
Yep.
my God. In fact, I think I love that movie because of that scene. The whole movie's awesome. but
Oh, it's
I-
like one of the best payoffs ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
But the movie
It's
is
not like I don't love the movie when
The
I
movie
see
is
this,
great
but
up
I gotta
until then.
fight
Yeah.
through the movie to get to that scene.
Oh, I don't.
'Cause you know
I don't
it's
think you have to
coming?
fight.
No, not
Yeah.
fight. See,
I feel the same.
Not,
I know
I
what
don't
he- I
mean,
feel-
I don't
Yeah,
mean like
yeah.
fight like
now
this
that you've
is
seen
terrible.
it, you keep anticipating.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
like,
like,
yeah.
oh, all this
Yeah.
stuff is
Yeah,
good,
get
but
to
I
it, get
know
to it. I
what's
get
coming.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I just want to get to that last.
But there's
20 minutes.
so much great
No, there
stuff that
is.
happens.
No,
Like
totally.
a great big bushy beard.
Fucking crusty jugglers.
Nobody
Crusty
tells
jugglers.
you
Don't
nothing.
misunderstand.
And I
me.
can't hear,
This
because of that
is
movie, I
awesome.
can't hear anybody say the greater good without repeating the
greater
greater
good.
No, we know.
good.
We all do it. Greater good. No, don't misunderstand me. The whole movie's awesome, but I just want to get to this ending so bad.
No,
'cause it's so
I
good.
get it. I get it. But
Well,
it's a,
you
it's-
should, because I don't think I've made it any clearer, folks. I don't know what you want from me. Tito.
Blood.
Thanks for not talking down to us, Mark. Anyway,
One of those shows. Sound pretty awesome.
The greater good.
The greater good.
I'd explain it to you, but you wouldn't understand.
Great big bushy mark.
Great big bushy beard.
I'm gonna go with for number 2, Logan versus the gang. The opening scene of the movie Logan, because it's such a payoff.
When he's changing the tire.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right?
Because it just starting the movie off that way and giving the moviegoers and the fans, the Wolverine fans, like the Wolverine that they've wanted since the beginning.
Yeah.
The idea of having Wolverine on the big screen, and it's the first time we really get like berserker, like just rage, violence, graphic violence. Like you get to see the impaling, and like you didn't get to see that in all the other Fox movies.
Right.
No.
It was all
It was very family,
PG-13 and
you know?
toned down.
So
Bloodless
it's like
violence.
to open it up that way, it immediately sets the tone for the movie perfectly. This is not your.
This is not your father's X-Men.
Yeah, that's right. No, in fact, it is. That's the thing. It is your father's X-Men. It's not your kids. Your Fox 25
It's not sure
kids.
2000s.
No.
Early 2000s
No.
X-Men.
I want to
So-
say the closest they get is in probably X2 when they raid the
Maybe,
house
yeah.
and he's going to town and I guess they're supposed to be robots. I don't know if they're Reavers.
Yeah.
But right, you don't see anybody
Yeah.
like actually dying, but he's doing some badass shit. But that's
That
that's
the-
the
And he's
closest
done
you've ever
like
gotten.
I mean, in some of the newer one, like the days of Future Past. That was before this, right? Before Logan.
Yeah.
So I mean, like he kind of gets a little gruff in that and swears. He
Yeah.
swears in it, but you still don't really see the carnage that he can
Yeah.
unleash, and just it's just fantastic.
All right, so my next pick is the Kingsman, the Secret Service.
Freebird
This is
fight.
the Kentucky Baptist Church fight scene.
Oh,
This is
great
the-
scene.
I think this is the best fight scene in the movie. The best
Yeah.
scene in the movie, actually,
Freebird.
where Agent Galahad, played by, of all people, Colin Firth, is caught in a literal crossfire of a brutal massacre in a Baptist church set to the tune of Leonard Skinner's Freebird. And what's more impressive about the scene, other than the shockingly beautiful ballet of bloody violence, is the fact that Colin Love Actually and Bridget Jones's Diary Firth is the one dishing out all the pain. And it's cool because he uses anything and everything at his disposal to take out every single member of the congregation. The part where he burns up somebody's face with a lighter, the part
Yeah,
where
that's
he
awesome.
snaps somebody's neck against the actual lectern, the axe to the neck, the final flagpole through the chin kill on the pastor. So many great kills.
That's a fun move. Those
Oh,
movies
my
are-
God.
I like Matt Reeves. I think not Matt Reeves. Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn.
Right, does those and
Yeah,
they're
he's the-
really really good.
He's the one who did the X-Men First Class movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Kick-Ass.
Yep. And Kick-Ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did Kick-Ass too.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
another one with some good,
Yeah.
good scenes.
Yep. Speaking of Kick-Ass, that Aaron Taylor
Johnson?
Johnson.
Johnson?
right?
Yeah.
Quicksilver.
He's rumored now to be on the short list for the new James Bond.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
interesting.
Yeah.
He's English, right?
He is
Or
English, and I
Australian?
didn't know that
Yeah.
until I.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean,
he's
he's good-
English.
he's good.
He's like Hugh Jackman. His
I mean, he's
wife
on-
is like
he-
50 years older than he is. You
Oh,
ever
really?
see it? Yeah, you
Wow.
ever see his wife? She's just
No.
I was like, what?
She's old with her old balls.
Yeah, so, yeah. Good luck with your old balls. Ever see Hugh Jackman's wife? And he's like, wow, she's old.
Number 3.
My top one is gonna be Old Boy. That's the hallway fight,
Oh, I almost had that one.
which is I don't love the movie, but I love that scene.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody
I like
does.
the movie right up until the end, and I'm just like, oh. But that scene is awesome, and and we talked about this earlier. I don't know if this your number one is what I think it is.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, so
But
it,
you're right. It's
it
definitely
reminds me a lot of that Daredevil.
That's one of my runners up, too.
Especially because you can. I really enjoyed when they started making fight scenes where you could see the character becoming physically tired, but still having to fight. And that's what he's doing this entire scene is he's tired. He takes breaks, but he's still swinging the hammer, he's swinging the bat, he's fighting. And just the shot is awesome. It's just like the side scroll, like Streets of Rage video game.
Yeah.
And you're just watching it from, you know, like go across the screen. I absolutely love that scene. Again, not a fan. Well, I like the movie up until that when I'm just like, oh fuck, this is fucked up. But still a good. I never saw the remake.
No, I did see the remake, and I didn't mind the remake.
Yeah.
How close is it to the?
It's pretty close.
Same
Yeah, it's fairly close.
And I'm
I
fairly certain that it's the same ending.
Same ending?
Yeah.
It's, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
Brolin
Spike
and
Lee
Elizabeth
did it.
Olsen.
I didn't even realize Spike Lee directed that.
Oh, I didn't either.
right.
Yeah, it's a Spike Lee movie. Which
No, it's a
else?
Spike Lee joint.
It's a Spike Lee joint for
Yeah.
sure.
It's not a movie. It's a
Believe
joint.
that.
Was that his like Inside Man like
It might
era?
have been no,
'Cause he did Inside
was
Man,
like
too.
Mid 2000s.
Yeah, it was-
When was-
came
when-
out like
when was this
15, 14, 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He hasn't made a lot
Inside
of
Man is
movies.
awesome. That's another good
in the
one.
Yeah, I
last,
like Inside Man.
20, so. Elizabeth
choice.
Olsen. Hot.
Thank you. 2013. Old movie
Okay.
remake.
I thought it was
Maki?
My up.
earlier than
What do you
that.
got?
I am my number one is the opening scene shootout in Hard Boiled, which is one of my favorite
Chow
action
Yun-fat.
films of all time. Favorite John Woo movie. Favorite Chow Yun-fat film. Blah blah blah. Usual stuff. Awesome opening scene. Everything is just beautiful in this film. Oh, it's so good.
Dude, you know what bums me out about John Woo is that he made all these awesome Hong Kong films, and then they were like, direct a Mission Impossible, but only do the stuff that we think is cool, like doves.
And it
Give me some
wasn't very
doves. And I'm just
I
like,
like that movie though.
by John Woo standards, it's like
yeah.
it doesn't work for me.
See, the thing that kicked me off the Mission Impossible thing was 2, which is why I never went back. But I've been tempted to.
Oh, I love it.
Finally.
Gotta go back. Yeah.
Well, now that there's like 100 films
No,
and it's got to
7,
fall.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's
Well,
not. Now
three-
who's talking? I know it's not.
Ow, yo.
Yeah, bastard. What the hell was I saying? Oh no, this is good. The opening
Hard
shootout. There's a great build up to it. Everybody's just waiting for something to happen. It does. There's a lot of just those classic John Woo close up moments. Eyes are shifting this way and that. Chow Yun's as cool as a fucking cucumber. He's got the toothpick in his mouth the whole time. Guns a blazing.
Jackie Daytona.
I liked him in Bulletproof Monk.
That's a good movie.
I think that's all
You know
I've
what?
seen.
Oh,
him
with the Stifler? yeah.
I should put this on my
in.
runners
And James
up.
King.
And James King.
My runner-up. I should add this. Replacement Killers is another awesome movie with Chow
Oh,
Yun
that's
Fat
right.
and Mira
And
Sorvino.
Mira Sorvino, right?
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's
John
my
Woo
number
directed that
one.
one too, didn't he?
No,
Or
that
produced it?
was.
Did he produce
He
it?
might have produced it, but he didn't direct it.
I thought-
But he might as well have because it
It
has
was
all
totally.
the has all the trimmings, the markings of a John Woo joint. He doesn't say joint, but
Chow Yun-fat should have been in more things. He's really funny.
yeah,
He's
is.
like hilarious, and you
Yep.
wouldn't think he is, but also just like a really good actor.
Well, we tried, right? And Anna and the King, was it with Jodie Foster? Wasn't
Oh,
he?
I never
That's
saw
right,
that.
Making
Yeah,
the
I
King
haven't-
and
I never saw that.
He tried, but then went back to action. And now I don't know the last thing he's done, quite frankly. I don't know what he's doing
Maybe
now.
stuff back at home
Maybe.
that we wouldn't be as privy to.
Oh, man, it's got some great movies, though.
Yeah.
For a Better Tomorrow.
Oh.
The Killer. All of those.
He
are
was in
classic.
one of the Pirates movies.
That's right, he was.
Yeah.
Pirates,
Thank you,
Pirates
Derek.
3.
Oh yeah, you're
At
right. He
World
was.
Empire,
Right.
Yeah.
And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Great movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
Which has a
He
bunch
and-
of
That
great
might have been
fight
a
scenes in
runner-up
its
for
own.
me.
Yeah,
Was
Same
he
same
in
here.
House
Zhang
of
and-
Flying Daggers as well?
House
I
of
think
Flying
it's
Daggers, he
just
might have been.
Jet Li in that movie.
Oh really? But Jet Li was in Hero.
Jet Li's in Hero.
Yep.
Oh, Z Zhang's in
And the
House of
one.
Flying Daggers.
Oh, God, Zhang's a love fire.
He's one of the few action stars that still has yet to be in an Expendables movie. If they do have a 4,
Oh, it's true.
it
yeah.
would be cool to add
they
him
put-
to
yeah.
the roster.
Yeah, Jet Li was in one, but
Yeah, was in 2, wasn't he?
they could seriously make a good one with just an Asian cast.
Oh, totally.
There's enough,
Agreed.
like-
Absolutely.
You know, Tony Bach and who's the one that was in the most recent John Wick one.
Oh, Mark
From-
Dacascos.
Mark Dacascos,
Mark
yeah.
Dacascos, yeah. Donnie Yen. there's
And,
like, yeah.
and
Still
one of the
ticking.
guys in that final one of those final fight scenes in John Wick 3 was in this movie tonight.
Oh, the guy who plays Mad Dog.
yeah.
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 Oh, he was awesome. All right.
That's a good scene. Mm-hmm.
Number 3?
one-
Did you do number 3?
Yeah, no, I haven't yet. So all right. So God, there was so many, and there are so many from John Wick, but I don't think I'm going to go with it because one of my favorite I want to keep it in the vein of tonight, which is Asian martial arts, Kung Fu Hustle. One of my favorite movies.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Yes.
Favorite.
I love Kung Fu.
Favorite
That's a good
martial arts
one.
movies. And there's a lot of great scenes, great fight scenes.
You talking about the scene with the three masters?
No,
When
well,
they're fighting with the
no, and that
instruments?
one's good too.
I love that scene.
But I like, the masters versus each other is my second favorite from that movie. And my first is it's just the one that I always think of immediately when someone says Kung Fu Hustle, which is the masters versus the harpists.
Yes.
With the cool, like
Yes.
the long, and they, it's the two twins, and they use the music.
Yep.
They, like shoots off like daggers.
Yeah.
And slices things up, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic. The whole movie
It's
is
like the inspiration for Doctor Strange. That whole scene with Doctor Strange
Oh
fighting.
yeah,
It's
when he's
that-
doing
yeah.
the musical notes. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
immediately what I thought
Yeah,
of
me
when
too.
I saw that. But yeah, one of my favorite movies. I love Kung Fu Hustle.
Do you ever
And
see
then coming out
Shaolin
with second-
Soccer?
Yes, and it's
I've
not
never
as good.
seen
It's
that
not
one.
as good. It was the
Not
first
as
one
good.
they did. It was the
Yeah.
first
Are
one
they,
they did.
did they or are they doing a Kung
They
Fu
are
Hustle
doing Kung
too?
Fu Hustle too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I had just read that.
You guys have
and the whole
good
landlady
choice.
thing is
Oh, the
amazing.
landlady is
yeah.
hilarious.
That part always sticks out. in
Oh,
my
me
head.
too.
And the landlord is great. The actor that plays him.
Yep.
The guy with the rings and
So good.
it's, a lot of fun.
Runners up.
Runners
Anyone?
up.
Want to spout off some runner ups, runner up, right, or am I right?
Runners up is acceptable.
This guy got it.
Runner ups will do. it.
Runnering up.
Right, or am I right? Groundhog Day.
I had
no.
the Winter
Okay, I didn't get
Soldier.
it.
I had the
Ned
Winter
Ryerson?
Soldier fight scene. Ripley versus the Queen. I absolutely get away from
Oh,
that
good
bitch.
one.
Yeah,
It's just-
yeah.
I fucking love that scene. And Frank Dukes versus Chung Li in Bloodsport is just a fun ass scene. I absolutely love that
You
scene at
introduced
the
me
end of
to
the
that.
movie.
Yeah, the one Van Damme movie I didn't see.
Yeah,
believe
where
it
they
or
fight at the end. I think I absolutely love that scene.
Would you
Nice.
have backups?
Mission Impossible Fallout. The public restroom scene.
Yes.
Oh, when he
Henry
fucking cocks his fist.
That was
Dude,
one of mine.
Henry
Oh,
Cavill and Tom Cruise battle it out in a public
so
restroom.
good in that scene.
Mark is going to think this is dirty, but brutal and wet with blood and water spraying everywhere.
Oh, you haven't seen that movie?
I haven't.
Oh, it's
cocks his
awesome.
fist when he's
Yeah.
ready to fight.
I
Yeah.
gotta jump back into
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was just putting.
Yep.
The scene is most notable now for Cavill improvising the now infamous fist cock or fist reload move.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
he
my god,
Yeah.
love that shit. See it.
bathroom scene part 2, The World's End. Simon Pegg and company fighting the
Oh, they're
robot.
fighting
that's
in the
right.
bathroom.
When they
That's a-
first discover
yeah.
that not everything is what it seems
Yeah.
in the town. And they end up calling the robots blue bloods because they bleed, well, blue. As far as sword fights, I've got Liam Neeson's Rob Roy versus Tim Roth's Archie Cunningham in 1995's Rob Roy. Brutal and realistic sword fight where two adversaries finally duel to the death. Archie with his lighter sword and Rob with his giant cleaver of a weapon. You can almost feel the weight of each blow as they try again and again to deal the fatal slash. And by the end, each of them are too tired and worn out to hardly lift their respective blades. Tito, you brought this up with yours too, where the guy was like too tired to fight. This is a long, realistic fight where they are just like got these massive Scottish claymores. At least in the case of Rob Roy, and he's just getting worn out. But it's just through sheer determination and honor that he just
I've
and
never
starburness.
seen that movie.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I'll check
It's
that out.
great. Tim Roth is wonderful in this one, and what's his name is also in it too, as Archie's benefactor. Or John Hurt is in it too. It's got a good cast. Jessica Lange is in it.
Yep.
I'm going. If we're sticking with swords, I'm going with instead of a lot of people think of Phantom Menace as the best lightsaber sword fight in Star Wars, but I'm going with
Oh, with Ray Park. Yeah.
with the three-way battle between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. Great, but I'm going with something a little bit more modern, and I'm going with the bookends of Darth Vader's hallway fight with the rebels at the end of Rogue One.
Totally.
And Luke Skywalker's hallway fight against the robotic Death Troopers in the Mandalorian episode, The Rescue, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I was thinking maybe you might throw Empire in there.
Yeah. The actual the big duel.
Yeah,
his hand cut
but
off.
no, I didn't want to keep falling back on Star Wars, which is why I kind of put them in my
That's
runners
all
up.
right, man.
Yeah,
You like fucking Star Wars.
I love
That's all
Star
right.
Wars, but I'm not all about Star Wars.
All right,
today.
fine.
and we've already touched on it. The speaking of hallway fights, the hallway fight scene in Daredevil's episode 2 of season 1, Cutman, where Daredevil Matt Murdock, played by Charlie Cox, takes on multiple men at once to rescue a kidnapped child. This thing was done in is a 5-minute scene, and done in one take.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing.
Really, really impressive.
Yeah.
And definitely drew heavily from Old Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see-
I think
Yeah.
so.
They're bouncing from. I love this stuff where like he just goes in the room and disappears for like a couple of seconds. And
Yeah.
Yep.
kicking ass.
Yep.
But you don't see it.
You don't see it.
And he comes out tired and fucking bloody. It's
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great fight scene.
Yeah. It's awesome. Check it out, Mark.
I will.
You got any runners up?
I've got the final Mardi Gras showdown in Hard Target between Van Damme and Lance Henriksen and Arnold Vosloo. The whole,
yeah,
how does
Vosloo.
it feel to be hunted? You tell me.
The mommy.
Fucking awesome scene. The second bar scene shootout in Desperado.
Oh,
when
nice.
Antonio Banderas walks in and he says he has a guitar, and they're like, "Oh, we heard the story about a guitar full of guns." It's Cheech Marin and
The bartender always leaves.
yeah. And then the guitar case accidentally opens. There's a bunch of guns, and it's just a fucking awesome shootout scene from there. And the car chase scene in Terminator 2. I was trying to think of the best action, and the one I
That's a
remember.
great. I was wondering if somebody's
Love
gonna
it.
go like a straight up action scene.
Yeah.
That's a great. Yeah.
It's just a great. I mean, it's just because Robert Patrick just keeps on coming. There's
Yeah.
no way to stop him. No
No.
matter how many times you shoot him, he will pursue that
Yep.
car.
And he does not get
And
tired.
it is awesome. And the way, John Connor's reloading all the guns, handing them off to Arnold
Mm-hmm.
and Linda Ham. Oh, God, that whole scene's fucking fantastic. There's a lot of great action scenes in that movie, but I really like that one. Stands out for some reason.
That's a good one.
And off the top of my head, because I just thought of it now, the vampire fight scene in From Dusk Till Dawn, when they reveal their vampires. And Tom...
Another one with Cheech Marin as the bartender.
I got to thank for Cheech.
We got white mostly. We got black.
And the bartender always lives.
You know what everybody says about me? I suck. Tom Savini gets to use the fucking cock gun.
Sex machine.
Oh, a sex machine.
Sex machine.
Love it. And I'm sure there's more, but I'll keep this going.
Nice.
Derek.
Like I said, John Wick, like pretty much anything in that. But one of my favorites is the scenes where they first send out the message, like the open hit on him, and so you see all these different assassins all over the city getting
text messages
texts,
and phone
and he's
calls
just trying to get like to safety, and
Yeah.
he just keeps.
They
getting
give him like what 30 seconds
Yep.
to get.
And you see him kill someone with a pencil.
Yeah.
The gang that he fights, and
I feel like a cellist at one point.
Yep,
Right?
yep, the blonde
Yeah.
cellist, and then the big
There's a
sumo-looking
huge
guy.
dude, yeah.
Yep. Unleashed. Danny, when Danny the dog is first unleashed, his first fight scene, Jet Li. It's one of my favorite movies too.
That's the one with your boy, Bob Hoskins.
Bob
Right?
Hoskins,
Yeah.
Bathroom Brawl. In Casino Royale, the opening of Casino Royale, when Bond is earning his stripes to become a 00, and
Yeah, I had one,
there's a lot of
one
them.
that popped into my head when you said one continuous shot, and it's the second fight that Creed has in Creed.
Okay.
Just one continuous fight shot of, and they're boxing, and every time they switch to like Rocky, they come back and then he's got a puffy eye,
Yeah.
but they're still boxing the entire time. I always thought that was really well choreographed.
Can I throw in Pineapple Express too?
You
Do
can
it.
throw in anything
I'm
you
throwing
want.
in Pineapple Express.
Pineapple
The
Express.
shootout scene at the end, and when Danny McBride and friggin' James Franco and Seth Rogen are fighting in his apartment.
Oh, they slam his head into
Slam
the
him
toilet.
into the
Yeah,
toilet.
that, shit
That thing goes
brutal.
on. That's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of fighting.
Oh, the chicken and Peter
Of
Peter
course,
Griffin
how
fight.
can we forget that?
Peter Griffin.
How
fight.
can we forget about Family Guy?
I mean, you could go on, dude. You could just there's
There's a
We
lot
can.
of-
We
yeah.
are.
This is an appetizer.
We could do a whole show on just action
know.
fights.
Totally
I
should
know it.
revisit this one.
This is one of our longest appetizers.
Sorry.
No, I'm not
all
apologizing.
Hey,
I said that
it's a
before.
fun-
we started
it's a fun
recording.
topic.
Reese's
Sorry,
says,
Johnny.
Derek.
I'm sorry.
It's a fun
Sorry,
topic.
not sorry. That's Reese's.
Good topic.
All right. All right,
So does Selena
on to the main
Gomez.
course.
On to the main
Is it
course.
Selena Gomez that sings "Sorry, Not Sorry"? No, Demi Lovato.
I don't
No,
know.
I just know the Reese's
Tell
peanut
me.
butter cup.
Sorry, not
Reese's,
sorry.
sorry, not sorry. I don't know.
I know
It
this.
doesn't matter. None of this matters. All right, on to the main course.
Whatever.
Blade.
Whatever.
Blade, the opening of Blade.
Oh
Shit,
my
how
God,
cool. I
yes.
was thinking of that one.
The-
Holy
yes,
Christ.
the vampire
Yeah,
Oh, the
club.
nightclub scene.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great
With-
scene.
with
With the
the-
great
the
music
shower.
and the blood shower.
blood shower.
And Tori, what's her name? The porn star. Tori.
Not Tori Amos. Don't say Tori Amos.
No, not Tori Amos.
Got a little sneeze.
And I almost said Tori Spelling, and it's not Tori Spelling.
No,
no, that
What's
was
her
Tori,
name. It wasn't Tori.
She's in
It was
Cry- yeah,
Tracy
Tracy.
Lord.
Tracy
Lord.
Tracy Lord.
Sorry.
Tracy Lords.
Oh,
Thank
God
you.
damn it, learn your porn stars.
I'm sorry.
Derek.
I'm sorry, Johnny.
The legend.
Well, with that fuck up, we'll move
Violent
on
Night.
to the main course.
And
That was-
Donald Logue.
He's so great in that
he
movie.
gets his sunglasses back from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it Donald or Donald?
Donald.
How do you say
I
that?
think it's like
Donald?
Donald without a D.
Yeah,
Donald.
it's like saying Donald without the D.
Is it Logue or Luge?
Logue.
It is Logue.
Donald
Logue.
Logue.
I feel
Donald
like
Logue.
somebody out there is like, it's Luge, you know?
I remember the one
Loogie.
that I was going to say.
What?
Donald Lugie.
Hockaloogie.
Gangs of New York.
Gangs
Oh,
of New
that's
York.
great.
Oh my god.
Great fight scenes
Yes.
in that movie.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Five Corners is,
Yep.
is phenomenal.
Fucking fish hooking everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great
Yeah,
fight scenes.
the chick with the
The brass
homemade
knuckles.
brass knuckles that are in
yeah.
spikes.
Yeah.
She's collecting ears.
It's brutal.
Subway scene in The Batman. It was short, but it
Oh
was
yeah.
good.
No, it was
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
It was one of my favorite movies from last year. So, tossing that in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this goddamn main course.
All right.
All right, everybody, let's eat.
Some help with that?
It's all here. It's done. Come on, man. Let's get with it. Come on.
First bite, he's got grace. House rules, man. House rules.
All right, here we go. Action movies. They are the roller coaster of cinema. The best action films feature larger-than-life protagonists duking it out with the most vile and over-the-top villains. Never mind the rules, there are none. In an action movie, everything is exaggerated and amped up. Characters slug it out and shoot it out with outrageous stunts, flips, and turns, like some fueled-up ballet. People are punched, kicked, and shot at, but never fall right away, and they just keep on trucking till the bitter end. Over-adrenaline fights run on for what seem to be hours, but rarely do the people tire. One man or woman can defy odds on their hard-hitting gauntlet, taking on hundreds of bad guys at a time, and come out only scratched. These are movies made for the id, the sheer delight of heart-racing excitement and danger. The hero always ready with a cool glance and a memorable one-liner. The villain with the right amount of malice and menace, but rarely too far, thus making them both bad, but also fun to watch. For a brief time, we can sit back and enjoy all the exaggerated violence and mayhem like a cathartic release from the real world. In action movies, the good guys win, the bad guys fall, and we are left satisfied and satiated with a sense of some sort of justice being served.
I need a cigarette.
That's right. For action movies feed our reptilian brain, our need for vengeance against those who wrong us, that part of us that would love to run the jerk off the road that cut us off on the highway,
You
then
said
gave you
jerk
the
off.
finger as if it were your fault. That part that pines to punch the rude sales clerk who offered you a backhand comment instead of just answering your question. That moronic Amazon driver that left my package out in the pouring rain on the walkway instead of my porch and then lied and said it was hand-delivered to me. That last part's true, by the way. But of course, we can't do that, folks. And why? Well, because in the real world, we are built with a sense of morality. Plus, you'd probably go to jail. But again, in an action movie, all bets are off. So, with all that being said, I now turn things over to Tito, who's ready to feed our primal need for gun blasting, blood splattering, martial arts fighting once more with his pick, The Raid Redemption. Oh, you
Wow, how many pages was that?
One.
Two.
Just the one?
Well,
Two. I'm looking at it. It's two.
No, look. Half on top, half on the bottom.
double space.
Right here, look. Look at that.
Man, you really went in on that.
I love action movies, Tito.
Yeah, clearly.
And I want everybody in the world to know.
Yeah, now we do. Now we guess after battle.
But now we don't have time to do the show. So.
Sorry, yeah. Thanks for coming in.
So for tuning in to other episodes,
showing up.
right? No, I'm kidding.
Where can you find Mark's tirades?
The number 3. So yeah, we're talking The Raid Redemption, 2011. I think was it released here in like 12 maybe?
I
yeah, I think so.
2012.
It was one of my favorite movies of 2012, and it's been one of my favorite movies ever since. This is one of these movies that when people tell me about action movies now, I say, "Have you seen Raid?"
Yeah.
You know, when like a John Wick or even that movie with Better Call Saul, Nobody.
Oh, nobody.
Yeah.
was
Which is like kind of inspired by John Wick, which is
Yep.
all the way inspired by Raider. At least I believe it is. Directed by Gareth Evans. He did the first one. He did the second one. He was supposed to do the Deathstroke movie.
Oh, really?
He was going to make a Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello. Yeah, he was going to write it, direct
Fucking
it.
Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
fuck-
Imagine that.
Fuck you, Warner
Imagine what kind of
Brothers
movie that could have been.
That would've
and the
been
Warner
awesome.
sister.
Yeah, maybe not as bloody. Maybe a little bit bloody because Warner Brothers doesn't usually care about. And he's also got this other show that he does called Gangs of London. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No, I never heard of that one.
but
It's
I
on
haven't seen it.
AMC. It's like it's not gangs in the sense of street gangs, more so in the sense of like organized crime.
Yeah.
So there's like the British gangs and the Turkish gangs, and they're all very rich and have lots of money. And some of the fight scenes are ripped straight from Raid. There are some great gun battles, but then there are some really awesome, just like interesting characters.
See, I saw his name, and I thought he was the one that directed Rogue One, but that's Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm all excited because this is the guy that did Star Wars, too.
And that's the newest series. He spent a lot of time in Indonesia.
Kill my Star Wars boner.
Jimmy.
He was almost my favorite.
He spent a lot of time.
But he spent a lot of time over in Indonesia.
Cue the lightsaber sound effect of the lightsaber going down.
And that's where he met Iko Uwais, who plays the Rama character, the lead character. And they made a movie. I've never seen it, but it was the first movie they made together with the character who plays Mad Dog, him. And then he stayed there for like 15 years, I think, just making movies and meeting people. Cast, these are a lot of unknowns or semi-knowns. So the Rama character he played... he was in Snake Eyes. He played Hardmaster and the newest Snake Eyes. He's in that. He has that series called Wu Assassins on Netflix. It's pretty good. It's like a fantasy kung fu series.
He's really good.
He's very
and he's a good actor in
general.
Like,
very good. And he was in Triple Threat with I think it's like Michael Jai White. I think Tony Jaa might be in it also, and the guy who plays Brock Rumlow.
I fucking
Frank
called him
Grillo.
Tony Bach earlier.
Oh, you're Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa.
Yeah.
Was he in Ong
He was
Bak?
Ong Bak.
Fucking stupid Derek.
Which had some great scenes.
I just can't get the Asians right.
Well, you're not completely off. He was in a movie called Ong Bak.
Yeah.
His first name is Tony.
You were close.
So you called him Tony Bach.
I'm getting better.
You're getting better.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Yes, you
know?
you didn't call him.
I'm always
Pat
open to
Morita.
learn.
You were like, yeah, that guy, Pat Morita.
No, that was the
We're already
movie,
off the rails.
the Last Dragon, wasn't it? The was the one with Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
Where he's on the wall? The Great Wall of China or something?
Yeah.
I did not see that movie. I can't see Matt Damon in a ponytail.
No.
Also starring Joe Taslim as Jaka,
Yep.
who was the lieutenant. He is Sub-Zero in the new
That's right.
Mortal Kombat
Oh, really?
film.
Yes.
Sub-Zero.
Yes.
Oh, he looked like the Asian Robert Klein to me.
No, you know who he looked like?
Yeah.
He's got my random actor award. Because I didn't know that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was in this movie.
Oh, you think?
He looks just like modern day Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with the white hair. He's like,
Is that a wrestler?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
like a classic wrestler.
Ricky Steamboat, legend.
Yeah,
He was also in Fast Six. I don't know if you saw Fast Six.
Who did he play
He's
in
in the
that?
rival
I did
gang.
not see.
The scene where Han and Tyrese get their asses kicked in the subway by that
You
guy.
got to be more specific.
Oh,
That's
right.
Joe Taslim. Yeah, there's a scene because there's like a rival. There's like the opposite version of them that
Yeah.
they're trying to stop. And then the other character, the other Yaya, I believe it's Ruyihan, is Mad
yeah.
Dog. He's in John Wick. He's one of the little guys from John Wick.
Yeah.
But a lot of like relative unknowns.
and isn't he? He's a huge like stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
right? For
Yes.
movies.
Yes, absolutely. And Joe Taslim saw their first movie and heard they were going to make some more movies and showed up and was like, "Please put me in a movie." So they tried him out a few times and they're like, "Oh, you're amazing." So then they started, they threw him in this.
Nice.
And the rest of the cast, obviously, a lot of Indonesian actors that I am not familiar with. And we talk about favorite scenes, and I thought because there are so many action scenes, I don't know if anybody has a talking favorite scene in this movie. If you do, feel free to jump in.
Not a talking one. I do have a favorite, but
You have a favorite scene.
well, there is some talking.
There is some
actually.
talking. There's
Yeah.
some dialogue,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah, I do
not
have a
bad.
favorite
It's
scene.
decent.
Tito, I did it again.
Tito,
That's not who I was thinking of.
did it again.
Oh, you were thinking of like the
I'm thinking
sergeant,
the lieutenant,
older, the
yes.
older guy. Yeah,
And-
yeah.
and
When you
P-
said gray
Pierre-
hair, that's
Pierre Gruno.
Pierre Gruno. You thought it was Ricky the Dragon.
Lieutenant Wayu. Yeah, I totally.
No, Jaka is the guy who.
Which one's Jaka?
Jaka's the lieutenant, so he's the one that
Lieutenant.
finds out that
All right.
he's the one that
Okay.
Mad Dog kills.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Because I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh, well, he didn't really have many fights in it. He should have.
No,
But
but his fight is really good because it's very like he's an older guy, so
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah,
feels that
but
way.
he is the one who's
But he's
Sub-Zero,
the-
right?
No.
No.
Jaka's-
Now you got me
I thought
confused.
so too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought so too, but no. Yeah. No,
Anyway,
Let's
Sorry.
jump right into it. No. That's okay. So, Raid Redemption is the story of some, I guess they would be SWAT-esque type.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called them elite in your opening.
They
I don't
are
know if they are. They
Well,
elite?
they're young.
Well, that's
they're,
what I
it's a
called
younger
them.
group of.
Because the lieutenant was like, wasn't he? He was like, these guys are gonna get eaten alive.
Well, because they're a
You said
young
elite.
group.
Yeah.
Say elite.
I said elite.
Somebody said elite.
Oh, you looked at me.
That's
you
okay.
did what I do.
Yeah.
You looked at me, but
When you see
Well,
them,
'cause it-
when you
you
see
know.
them fight, they're pretty elite.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Yeah, that's
Well, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Rama
There.
for sure, and
Yeah.
Jaka for sure.
Jaka.
But as far as
Jaka.
following procedures, not sticking your head out a window where there's violence.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, they're a young group. They're
Yeah.
being led into
Right.
They're green.
take down a drug lord. Unbeknownst to them, is just a setup because their sergeant, who is the Pierre Grudin character, is trying to take out this drug dealer himself. This is not sanctioned by any police force whatsoever. So they assemble a group of young people. Jaka, knowing that they're all young and a little bit inexperienced. The Rama character is there to get his brother, who lives in the building or does something in the building. He wants to bring him back. They have this really great scene in the beginning. It's very simple, right? You see him with his pregnant wife. You see him with his dad. I'm going to bring him back. And they end up in the building, and they are discovered by some young boys who sets off the alarm, at which point...
On floor number 6.
On floor number 6, at which point the leader of the gang decides that if you want to live rent-free in this building, you will help me kill all of these
because
people.
that's an interesting thing. The drug
Tama.
lord lives at the top.
Yeah.
And he basically controls this building. And every tenant in this building is basically a criminal or somebody that owes him something. So
Yeah.
he's letting them live there, but he controls them as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and then you have
Very dread.
Yeah.
Yes,
like-
it's
Oh,
very
really?
dread.
Yeah.
Dread definitely pulled from this
And
movie.
that's amazing because you said this movie maybe came out in 2012 in
Yeah.
the States. Dread came out in 2012, and Attack the Block came out in 2012.
Yeah.
And you talk about movies that are very similar, like Armageddon and Deep Impact and Ants and A Bug's Life and Volcano and Dante's Peak. Here you've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
You know, all within 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, that came out, all with a similar premise where you've got like a group of law enforcement people trying to work their way to the top, or not so much in Attack the Block, but, you know, trying to survive in an apartment building.
Yeah.
You know, it just blows my mind when
Yeah.
shit like that happens. It can't be a coincidence.
No, and you know, I think 2011 is when the movie came out in Indonesia.
Right.
It had a huge buzz.
So this one
coming
did
out
come
of
out
that.
first, as
It
far as
did,
like
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the other 2 did follow, but you gotta
the
if they all
studios
came out
were
at the
like,
same
"Oh, I
time,
know."
They're all
they
kind
were
of
all in
making them
production at the same time.
That's true. That's true. But it also has some similarities, I think, to New Jack City and the Carter.
The way they're
Where
controlling.
Nino Brown
Yeah.
controls the
Yeah.
Carter, and this
Yeah.
Tama character
Right. Anybody can
controls
come
this
in
building.
there, they shoot up crack.
And they all owe a big,
Right.
huge debt
Yeah.
to Die Hard.
Oh,
know?
yeah, for sure. But they, there are even people who live in this apartment building who just happen to live there because they have no place else to be,
Right. Yeah.
or go. So they pay their rent and they live and they try to avoid whatever violence they can outside of the drug dealers. So I want to jump into scenes and just kind of work through each fight scene. Because there are a bunch and they are extensive and they're all really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So they get into the building. First scene, we got the first gunfight where they're caught by the young boys, and they got Tama's men are shooting from above, and there is this, and they get into the room, and kind of all hell breaks loose. They lock the door, and they are trying to cut through the ground with the axe.
Yeah.
And Rama puts the fucking tank in the fridge.
Oh, the propane
and
tank from under
and
the
puts
sink.
it to the door.
Yeah.
And it
That's
just blows up, and they're
Yeah.
jumping down, and there's basically guys. As soon as they jump down, there are guys coming in. There
Yeah.
are guys coming from above, and they're just going at it.
Oh, it's insane.
You got to stay away from the windows, or you're gonna get your head shut off.
You got to stay away from the doors because there's people coming in. You know.
Right.
Oh.
It's where you realize like this is
No way
gonna
out.
be mayhem. It's
Yeah.
nonstop.
Oh yeah.
I say that the next biggest fight scene is probably the hallway. This is probably my favorite.
2
scene.
hallway scenes though.
Well, we're going the first hallway
7th
fight
floor.
scene where he is with the guy who gets hurt,
Yep.
the guy who gets shot, and he's essentially propping him up on his back, fighting guys. And then he puts him down, and he's fighting more guys, and he starts doing some of the one of the coolest things about in this movie for me is like the slam head on the tile, like 4 times
Oh,
down.
yeah, yeah.
I think is phenomenal. And then when he grabs the guy by the neck, jumps and slams his head on the doorway.
Oh, where the
And
door
it
was
just-
Oh,
the
yes.
door's
Yeah.
broken,
And the
it
door's
just
all
goes-
jagged at the bottom, and he
goes
just
right through his
Yeah.
neck, and you're
Oh,
just
yeah,
like, oh,
that-
this guy is fucking done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's amazing.
game over, Johnny.
Right. So that's another. And
Tito,
they're pretty.
can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah,
Is
go
it
for
Rama
it.
or is it Yuta?
So Rama.
I got Yuta on here as the lead.
Rama
Is that his real name?
is-
Was I wrong? Rama's this guy, right?
That is
That's Rama.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know why it's
why is
listed
he
that way.
credited as Yuta?
Oh, I don't know.
Strange. Okay.
Unless
continue.
it's different in the
I don't
in
know.
their version.
They could have been wrong. So
But
Never mind.
Did you guys
Continue.
watch it? No, because you don't have the dub version on there.
no.
Never. There's a dub.
No.
I've never seen
Oh,
a dub.
really? No, I've
there's-
never seen a dub.
There's a
That
dub
is wrong.
version.
Subtitles.
I've never seen it. I
Yeah.
prefer not to.
I'm sorry to stop you. Continue.
No, that is quite all right. So the second hallway fight scene, the machete fight scene,
Yes.
which is all the way badass. Another great
Yeah.
And, it's
scene.
more, and that one is more like I feel like that one's more of a challenge for him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't really have to do much in the first one on the 7th floor.
No, he's so good
Like
that some
they-
of them he leaves alive.
Well, yeah, like and
He's
they
gonna
just
kill
like
everybody.
none of them had a chance. Whereas they give him a little bit of a fight, a better fight on the 8th floor where
Yeah, for sure. And
there's a
that guy
lot
is
of the
like,
big black guy that like with the machete that like he leaps.
Yeah.
He fucking dives and leaps in the air at him and like way more. I feel like the bad guys on that and on the 8th floor are a little bit.
Yeah, I think
more
everybody that
advanced.
he's fighting initially are probably just people coming out of their apartments who are looking
Random
for some free
thugs,
rent.
yeah.
Yeah, where this is like,
Well, that's what the drug dealer said.
yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody.
But then,
that-
like as he gets higher to the
Yeah.
top, it's like the ones that are up there
Yeah.
are more of the actual gang.
right, exactly.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's more, more advanced level of fighting.
I like that moment though when he sees them at the end of the hallway. They're coming for him, and he knows he has to fight them.
Yeah.
And there's this look that comes over him where you can tell he knows he can take them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do I have time for this?"
Yeah.
And then you see the look on his face. It's like, "Okay, I got to take these guys down."
Yeah, because he's standing at
And-
the end of the hallway and he's like, all right, fuck it. And
But
he
he's
starts
been
charging.
But he's been running for
Yeah.
the first few minutes. He's running away from him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I just love how he turns and he just shifts. He's like, "All
Yeah.
right, now
Changes
I gotta
tactics.
fight him.
Yeah.
There's a really great overhead shot of him fighting the two guys with the machetes at once. I think that's a phenomenal shot, and it's just a great perspective of him. What you start to see now is you don't see those like 6 guys waiting in the background waiting to get beat up anymore. Like the fight choreography's gotten so good, where it's like this person should be doing something while I'm fighting this guy, and that thing you should be doing is trying to hit me. So I'm trying to deflect, and I'm fighting, and I'm pushing, and it's giving as magical as some of these fights look.
Yeah.
it still adds like some element of reality.
Yeah, a
as
little
opposed to
realism.
the Secret of the Ooze, where you just have foot soldiers standing around just bobbing up and down, and
they're dancing
they're
in the back of
pumping
the
their
room,
fist, waiting
Yeah.
to get their
What
chance.
should we do?
Yeah, what happens next, Shredder?
Sir, we don't have anything to do up here.
Yeah.
Just dance.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. Put me in, coach.
Oh no, this is where he drops the guy's head on the
Yeah.
in that scene. But even those guys, there's a great because the guy backs out and he's like laughing hysterically, and that's when they lock eyes.
Yeah.
And then he's like fuck, and then they come back. A next really, this scene always bums me out. Now that I know what happens, is Jaka versus Mad Dog.
Yeah.
It's a really good fight, and I think and I like now that you know what happens, but initially when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, he could beat Mad Dog.
Yeah.
He could totally beat him.
But no.
Yeah, and he has a couple of moments where he almost does, and they use.
But is Mad Dog just playing with him? Like thinking that he can take
Well,
him?
I think you start to realize that he
Yeah.
is. He's
Yeah.
fucking playing with everybody.
Yeah.
But and it's one of those Princess Bride things at the beginning of it where like he comes in and he could just shoot him. But he puts down the gun and he goes into like the whole thing. spiel
Like,
about how
I'd
he
rather do
likes-
it with my fist.
It's, it's more
These
personal
horsemen.
with
Yeah.
a knife.
Yeah,
and-
pulling a trigger is like ordering
Yeah.
takeout.
Oh, that's
That's
a
right,
great
yeah.
line of the
line.
movie.
Yeah.
That's an awesome
Best
line.
line of the movie.
I love that scene.
So
I love
he's
that
looking for a
character.
good fight.
and he gets one.
He
Yeah,
gets
he
a
does.
good fight. Jaka gives him a good fight, but he doesn't survive at the end. It always bums me out.
Nope.
That's one of my favorite characters. In the
Yeah.
movie. This might be the most exciting fight scene, the drug lab.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
When they finally get to the drug lab with him and the sergeant, and you see the older gentleman, and he's not a great fighter, but the fight works for him.
Yeah.
Like he does some cool stuff. He's breaking chairs over people. And then you have Rama fighting the guy on top of the table. with the knives.
Yep.
And even the younger guy who is he's in a couple of scenes before he dies, and you don't really know what he's about. He's even got some cool things where he like grabs the guy's leg, pulls him up, and slams him down. Kicks legs on steps of his face, yeah. And then the big fight, Mad Dog versus Rama and his brother Andy, where he gets stabbed in the neck with the light bulb is fucking sick. He just pulls it across, but he's still going hard.
Oh yeah,
still
he's not
struggling.
stopping.
Yeah,
he's got that thing hanging out of his neck for like a good 2 minutes. I'm like, he's not even bleeding out.
Yeah,
he's not even bleeding. Yeah, because you just expect like it's just to be
like
squirting out, and it's not. It's just in there.
Yeah.
But he's going hard on both of those guys. Like he's gonna kill them both. They get kind of lucky.
I kept expecting because that when he's got him chained up at the beginning. Mm-hmm. He walks in and he's got Andy chained up, and he lets him down, and he's over near this like chain thing that has a metal rod like sticking way out.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, when's someone getting impaled on that? Like,
I'm
waiting for it, and then it never happened. So I'm like, oh,
that's another moment where he's just like giving them the opportunity. He's like, all right, untie your brother.
It's like the piranha tank; they do nothing with.
I was thinking that.
There's a better payoff in this scene, though.
Tito's picks all have red herrings.
Mad Dog is the piranha. Mad Dog is the piranha.
Sure is.
But those are the major action scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
I just want to run through them really quickly, and then talk about favorite scenes if you guys have from
definitely.
there.
Yeah.
Because I assumed my favorite scene is an action scene. There are some cool moments in the movie, but if anybody wants to.
I'll start. Mine, just because we've been talking about it, it's the machete fight.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know why it says Yuta, but Rama's fighting off the machete gang. And I love the build up to it when he's hiding out in the people's apartment. He's stuck in between the wall.
That's my favorite scene.
And that lead machete guy is, you think he's going to be essentially what Mad Dog ended up being.
Right.
I thought he was going to be Carl.
Insane.
I call him the Carl. I thought he was going to be the second in command. And he isn't. But man, when they're charging down the hall, and again, the look that he gives the three of them.
John's still alive.
Oh,
how do you
so
know?
Cool.
Nobody can make him that pissed off.
No, but like I love how he's been running from these three, and then he turns and realizes he has to fight. But again, that look saying that you can read as an audience member, you're like, oh, he not only knows he has to fight, he knows he can win.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's been playing with them, not purposely playing with them, but he's like, all right, I'll run away for a while. Sure, I could take him if I wanted, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I want to get my brother and get out of here. No, fuck, I can't. All right.
He has to. Yeah, then there's no way out.
And the lead up to that, when the part where you were saying how he was in between the thing in the wall, and he gets him with the like the blade stuck in his
cheek,
and it cuts his cheek.
Him up.
But you see him like trying to wiggle without wincing, just so that he could when he knows he's gonna pull it out, and he knows that if it has blood on that blade, he's
knows
gonna
that
know.
somebody's
Right.
in the,
So
in the
he
wall.
had to like
pinch it, wipe it down.
graze it while he's pulling it out. It's great.
That scene is like it's a mini movie within itself.
The tension,
it's
just
awesome.
the tension in that whole scene,
the build up,
and you really feel for that couple. I mean, we meet this guy in the first 5 minutes, and he's probably the only law-abiding tenant,
He's
at least
the only decent
out of
one.
anybody that we've seen.
That you see,
he's like the only law-abiding tenant that's in that whole building,
and he knows the risk in that apartment of lying to these guys,
and
hiding Rama. And yet he does
it anyway.
And I like how he says, we're not all bad cops, and I like how he answers, well, I know I wouldn't have opened the door if I did.
Right.
He said it more elegantly than I did, but the message was
to that effect.
Same.
He does also. I like that he gives good pushback to the machete guy.
Yeah, he does.
To like kind of sell the fact that like, dude, get out of here. There's nobody here.
We already answered your questions.
Yeah.
He's
already
My wife
risking
is
death.
sick. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
And also, I'm glad he survived.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad people survived in this movie. There were people that I was like, he's dead. He's going to die at some point.
Yep.
Oh, they're setting up a tragic outcome. No, they didn't. They kept really the decent people, if I'm not mistaken, are with the exception of the lieutenant they all live.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. Next.
You got a favorite scene there?
Oh, me? So like I said, I love the 7th floor and the 8th floor fights. The fights themselves are great, all of them. But you hit it on the head with the tension. This movie has, like, for something that's so action packed, there are so many scenes that are just dripping with tension, and just like like gritty and like gut wrenching. Like the scene, but like leading into the 6th floor shootout, they're all in darkness. They're thinking about opening the door, and then I think it's Rama that realizes it, right? Where like he's like, no, don't open the door, but it's too late because he knows that's gonna create light, and he sensed people watching in the darkness. Like the camera pans up, and it's all black. And then you start to see in the darkness the silhouettes of all the guys.
Yeah, somebody shoots the gun, and then you see the light behind them and with their shadows.
Yeah, there's like a slow motion shotgun scene,
blast,
and the blast from the shotgun is enough to illuminate, and they just light. That's how it all starts, and it kicks up this great shootout scene where and then there's one kid that gets shot and then keeps going until he gets shot a few more times, and then finally dies.
And there's the other kid just standing there, just staring because he doesn't know what the fuck.
So I would say overall, the other scenes are great, but that scene in general, like from start to finish, is my favorite because of the build up of the tension, like leading into it.
Well, there are great moments in between the action scenes, like that, like the machete to the cheek.
And the kid. Where they're like waiting to see if the kid's gonna be quiet, and they they think he's okay, so they start putting their guns down, and the kid takes off.
Turns around and runs. And he gets shot. There's some good small
through the door,
moments.
through the neck.
You got a favorite scene there?
Yeah, no, my favorite scene was the one where they're stuck in the wall in the apartment there. I love that. That's the one that stuck out to me. It was just so tense, and you got the machete guy just keeps jabbing into the wall at a couple of feet intervals, up and down, in case they're crouched. He's like at neck level, at ball level, at neck level, at ball level.
One of the heads is going.
Yeah. And then, like you said, he gets Rama right in the cheek, and he's like, and then it's just a great scene. The tenant starts talking to him just as he gets cut, and it's awesome.
It's definitely well done, and for such little. I mean, the idea is so simplistic, but done so perfectly. My favorite is the first hallway fight scene. I absolutely love. Again, the head on the tile 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. The first time I saw it, I was like, dude, that's amazing. Like, who thought of that? Oh, it'd be cool if I just slammed his head down the tile 4 times in a row. Or there's like the parts where he's got his knife, and that he has weapons in that fight, and then he just abandons them. I don't know why, but he does.
Who's that, Rama?
Yeah, but he's doing some amazing stuff with like his baton and the knife, and I don't know, the idea of stabbing somebody in the knee and then slicing down is like, oh, that incapacitates this person.
Yes.
Never seen it in a movie. The creativity with the violence is so amazing to me in this movie. I don't know if that means I'm a sick fuck or what.
Probably.
When it comes to action movies, that is always the stuff that impresses me most. It's like, I've seen a person get kicked in an action movie. I've seen a person get punched. I've seen people get thrown through windows. But like, how cool can you make it look when you do it?
Yeah.
Right? When he does the jumping head grab, slams the guy. Like, you've seen a guy do that before.
Yeah.
Have that situation happen. But how he does it is so fun, and the angle's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and it's I'm a huge fan of like when it's the realisticness of the reality. Yeah, realisticness.
Really?
Yeah, the reality
of a fight where like. Because you're using the environment. When they use the environment and it's not just kicks and punches and guns and knives, like they use everything, and that's exactly how you would fight in a like desperation kind of battle like that.
Yeah, there's especially like points that, like in the Jaka fight when he's getting choked out or about to have his neck broken, he's kind of fighting for his life and grabbing at the hands, and there's this kind of drawn out moment of just like, this dude's a sociopath. Like, he really wants to enjoy this. There are a couple of moments like that where they have the final gasp. It's not just this like bang, 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 you're down. Right? Because you by the time Jaka dies, you're thinking like, oh, that was a fucking brawl. Like, they were going at it. He's spent. He's got nothing left, and now he's done.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how I feel Asian action movies are, though. They're kind of like Italian horror films. They show you everything, whereas a lot of American films cut away to get to the point.
Yeah.
Both types of films
to hide shit choreography.
Or to hide.
Yeah. Both genres. They show you everything, and they take their time getting there, and they illustrate every single detail. And that's what I like about both of them, actually.
Yeah, and the fight style, Salat, I believe it's called.
Yeah, I wrote it down because Pencak Salat.
Salat. Yeah,
it's an indigenous fighting style of Indonesia.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know how effective it is in the real world, but it seems like it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. And actually, Rama is named after the first woman to teach Pencak Salat in a structured way.
Oh, that's cool.
Rama Sukarno was the woman's name.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. All right, that's awesome.
I got you covered.
I appreciate that. I can only do so much.
Somebody had to read the IMDb page.
What's a scene that people hated? Is there a scene that people didn't like?
For me, there wasn't a scene that I hated. If I had a problem with any scene, it was the drug lord getting, and spoiler, how he died at the end. I thought it was very anticlimactic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought he got off too easy. It was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the big bad guy, and I thought there was going to be more because they build him up to be this very powerful character. And although he's got a great monologue that he's yelling to the general who's got him held hostage, I thought he was going to get away. And, when he was spouting stuff like, oh, you're already dead. I didn't bring you here to kill me. And I thought something was going to happen to him. So when he just said, be quiet, and shot him, I was like, oh, that's kind of a jip.
Yeah.
So if I did have a complaint, it would be that
But
way.
it's realistic. Like,
It
that's
is
exactly
realistic,
what he would
but
have done.
at this point, with so much of it being so over the top, and I mean that in the best way, you create a baddie like that. I really want to see an equal amount of exaggerated fighting with the two. But
I think that was the point of that guy was he wasn't the fighter.
No, I know
he commanded everybody.
Yeah. But
so it's like if he had to fight his own fight.
But even for a commander, I think he should have gotten a little more.
Like maybe that's what they could have done was maybe give him a
not
fight
a horrible
scene and show
scene.
that he can't fight.
It doesn't ruin the movie by any stretch. It's just if I it was hard to think of anything that disappointed me, so it's it's a reach, but it is a genuine reach for me.
Not so much that you hated it; it was just a weak part.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that. I like the way the movie ends, so I think they do a good job there.
No, they definitely
But
do.
it can be anticlimactic because you get there, you get the guy, you bring him down the stairs, you guys are, you still got to get out of the building.
Yeah.
So I was assuming, or more in line with the story would probably be them at the very
maybe
least
if he
fighting
was
their way out
crouched on
to the
his
bottom,
knees
the
and
last
someone
few.
shot him from behind,
Yeah.
because when you first see this guy, he's executing like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And he runs out of bullets and he stops and excuse me, and he is a great villain.
Yeah.
And these movies, when I see a great villain with a huge buildup, I want to see an awesome outcome with it. I want to see a showdown of some sort.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was the dickhead general that took him out too, I think that might have even been another thing. It wasn't even Rama who took him out. It was this fucking guy who was just as despicable in many ways as him.
Yeah, no, see, I think
So it was kind of a jip.
I think he was more the villain of the movie than the actual drug
lieutenant.
lord.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would,
I got that vibe.
Yeah, because and he's the one that they end up bringing out in cuffs at the end, because he's the one who lied to everybody and put all these people in jeopardy by telling them, that this is a sanctioned mission and it wasn't, and leads them all into this lion's den to be slaughtered.
Right.
For his glory.
Yeah.
And
in a lot of action movies, there's always a traitorous one. There's the one you think is good.
Yeah.
And they usually get it.
A
They
treacherous
usually get
Frenchman,
it.
who would have thought?
Agent for harm.
Agent for harm.
A traitorous Frenchman.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't have one because I thoroughly enjoyed the small parts, and the action scenes are so phenomenal that I probably could forgive every single thing in this movie. But yeah, I could see feeling that way about that final character, and he's I think where maybe they're missing something is because the Mad Dog fight happens and then there's like a bit of time in between the Mad Dog, because if you think I would imagine that fight to happen, they get to the top and then it's Mad Dog fighting the two brothers while the boss watches on. Kind of situation, like Jack Palance watching his two buddies fight
in Tango
and
Cash.
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 Right, like that would happen, but no, there's still like a couple more floors they gotta get to, so I could see it.
And I mean,
kind
if
of
that's
a
all
drag.
he did, if he was just like hanging out like Jack Palance and watching things through a monitor, but again, he's got that awesome monologue right before the general shoots him. It sounded like they were setting up some great moment, and it just kind of did not.
But I
happen.
think it was them setting up like he's pushing his buttons.
Yeah.
And this guy is bad cop.
Yeah. But I
so
don't.
he's not gonna follow protocol. And
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm fucked anyway, so I
Yeah.
might as well shoot you in the head.
But like Brian said, because that other guy is equally an asshole, I don't want to see him win anything. I don't want to see him have a moment, and he kind of has.
Well,
a
and he
moment
doesn't,
in that.
because right after he shoots him, he goes to try to kill himself,
and he's out of bullets.
And he's
Right.
out of bullets.
Yeah.
So he loses.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
He doesn't take.
He's
He doesn't get to take the
dumb luck,
coward's
man.
way
Yeah,
out.
Exactly. So
and he has to face
Yeah.
justice.
Anything in this movie you guys would change?
You
didn't
do my least favorite.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no one else did.
I'm
I
sorry.
started it off. Yeah.
No, I picked yours.
No, no, because like you guys, it's a solid film all around, like beginning to end. I think the only thing, like that scene with the execution in the beginning, it was like that got me in the gut. I was like, it's just brutal, and it's so the violence in this movie is so realistic.
Yeah.
That it's like I don't even know how they filmed that without actually
Killing someone
or hitting someone in the head with a hammer. But the only other one I think would be the beginning of the movie when he's with the wife. Like it's an important scene. It sets up, it gets you rooting for the character, but it's not the strongest scene. I mean,
I think it's effective. It gives them a reason to get home.
Yeah.
It gives them a reason to get home.
And he has the line, "I'll get him out," so he's there to get somebody.
His brother,
yeah, it's kind of an exposition scene, really. It just sets off the, this is why he's doing it, kind of thing.
I'm sorry, Brian. Do you have a?
No, I kind of agree with Mark, and I think it was a solid film all around. But the way that the drug lord went out was a little bit of a jump.
So I guess that kind of goes in with what you would change.
Yeah. But like I said, I think it was more.
It does actually. You can.
The villain of the movie was more the lieutenant than the drug lord. In the end. So, yeah,
I would agree.
The bad lieutenant.
The bad lieutenant.
Port of Call.
Sergeant.
New Orleans.
You want something you would change?
It just ties into that. I would change he's credited as Bowo in what I have, but all the names are wrong. So I'm just going to call him the head bad guy. And I would change the death. Kama is...
So Bowo is the sergeant.
Oh.
With the gray hair.
That's Wayu.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Wayu.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pierre Gruon. Yeah. Bowo and your cop who survived. Oh, no. Bowo was the cop that survives.
Is him, right?
Bowo was the cop that survives.
Oh, it is?
The one that gets
Who the
shot
hell
and
is
gets left in the wall.
drug dealer?
I'm sorry.
See, I honestly thought that was him. Just all
Tama is the big boss.
cleaned up. That guy right
The big boss is Tama.
Yeah, the big boss reminded me of the Beast from Kung Fu Hustle a little bit. Like the way that he looked, that kind of like...
A little bit. With the longer hair.
Balding with the long hair, kind of greasy.
He reminded me of Raul Julia.
A little bit.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
No, I can see that.
The big eyes, he kind of reminded me
I can
of
see
Raul
that.
Julia, like a dirty, disheveled.
Going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard.
I would not change the actor. The actor was phenomenal. I wouldn't change who he was, but I would give him a better send off. Let's put it that way. That's what I would do.
How would you change it there, D?
I wouldn't change anything. I think, I think it's a near perfect movie.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, I don't think I'd change anything.
And I don't mind the way that he went out because to me it makes more sense, I guess.
Is there a scene that might make you guys stop watching this movie?
No. I couldn't think of one.
The scene with the girlfriend or the wife at the beginning of the movie, like if I was flipping through channels and I just came across that scene and I didn't know what I was watching, I wouldn't have kept watching.
Saying there were too many women in this movie and she's the one who has to go.
Has nothing to do with that. It's like a boring scene if you don't know.
Mostly a man with long hair.
I'm like strictly saying if I didn't know what movie it was, if it was if I hadn't watched it last night, and I had been flipping through the channels, that scene wouldn't have kept me interested at all.
Pregnant women,
right? Because if you start with
that scene, I stayed up way later than I should have watching this movie because I could not shut it off.
Well, he starts. Was the thing? He starts training and then goes into that. But if you just are like seeing him in that room, then you're like, oh, this is some kind of Indonesian drama about to unfold. That's about a pregnant couple.
Yeah, not in the mood.
Yeah, not in the mood. Not tonight, Rama. I agree. I absolutely love this film. There's nothing about it I would change. I'm all the way in. Something that might not work today. I mean, it came out 10 years ago, but
So,
it's something about the film that might not work today.
Tying into what we were joking about, I don't have a problem with it, but I think people might have a problem with the lack of women in the movie on the assault team. Of
You think
any
what
kind.
a lady cop?
A lady cop, any kind, or a lady.
But then they'd complain
bad
if she
guy,
got off.
A lady henchman. But there's like it's an all guy fest in that place.
Yeah.
And I
Sausage fest.
I
It
feel
is.
like an American remake.
I know.
of
Do
this
you even see the
would
wife?
hit
I
it.
can't remember.
Well, you see the wife
talks about
in
it,
the
right?
beginning. No,
Oh, you see her.
Yeah.
She's laying in bed.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not his wife. I'm talking about the sick wife.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see her
she's in
twice.
bed. Yeah,
Yeah, you
because
see
they lift up the bed while she's in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right.
They cut to her and when she's saying
She
don't
tells
open
them,
the
"Don't open the
don't
door."
open that door.
Yeah.
That's
I-
right. I
yeah.
forgot about that.
You gotta listen to your wife next time.
I mean that's a reach, but
open that door.
if I could think of
Yeah.
anything that people might not
I didn't think about
take a
that, but
fancy
I-
to is probably be like, well, there's no women in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. When I see women kicking ass, I get super turned on. So yeah, let's get some ladies in there kicking ass.
Well, you brought up Dread, Olivia Thirby, man.
That's
She's
right.
awesome.
Great in that
Awesome.
movie.
She's
She is.
awesome in that movie.
I forgot how good
If
she
it was
in
remade
that.
now, it would probably be a sister cop, a sister hero cop saving her brother.
Oh yeah, probably.
You know?
Yeah, I could see that. Or the boss is I don't like a bad guy, older woman.
No, I mean, Mama.
Oh, well,
yeah, you had Mama.
Dread, she was awesome.
You had Mama in
Okay.
Dread.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you get the right
yeah.
person, you know,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, I was thinking about the sergeant, but yeah, if we're
Yeah.
talking about yeah.
Oh, the sergeant would have been cool.
Oh, like Jane Lynch.
Yeah, something like
Playing
that.
the
Sigourney
cat-
Weaver.
Jane Lynch.
No, because all I can think of is the captain that she plays, that she does the voice in Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the-
She's badass.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Halo captain. That's what I meant.
Get Jane Lynch in this movie.
What do you think doesn't hold up? Anything? Yeah.
Nothing. I think it. I mean, it's
Or what
sti-
wouldn't hold up today?
It's not like it was. It didn't come out in the 70s or 80s. There's
Right.
not a lot of like,
Yeah, man, it's a 10-year-old film.
I think you hit it on the head. I think it's probably like if people were gonna watch it and complain about it today, it would be
well, not so much watch it, but if they were going to try to make it
Yeah.
today, if they were doing this now, I have a great idea.
What might not work is
No,
an
and-
all-male cast.
Yeah.
No, and
Exactly.
that's what I mean. I think
Yeah.
they'd have to like gender swap a bunch of the characters.
Not enough
Probably.
black people. Still is.
Not a lot of diversity.
More diversity.
But
Yeah,
it's a
more
fucking
diversity.
Indonesian movie, so I mean,
No.
like, there wasn't enough white people in this movie.
Yeah.
There was zero white
There's
people.
too many white people in this movie.
That's one too many. I don't know.
It would be. It would be. I would have gotten upset if there was like
Yeah,
a random.
no,
That's
you know.
that's what I mean. Like I would have gotten. I would have been like, what the fuck is a white guy doing?
Yeah.
They're in Indonesia.
Well, Tom Atkins as the general would have been cool. He was
Oh, I might have liked that.
Reprising-
Sergeant Tom Atkins.
reprising the dickhead
that
in
might be
Lethal
cool.
Weapon there,
Yeah.
the Michael Hensack.
I mean, honestly, it kind of blows my mind that a fucking British guy made this movie. And so, like, for real.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait a minute, that Indonesian guy didn't make this movie? He's British and he's fucking amazing?
But they're so
He was like a
quaint.
Welshman.
Yeah.
He's a
He
Welshman.
directs like a
I
Welshman.
don't have any issues with the film. I think
did
it's
you
great.
have anything that? No. All right.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I think, it's fine. And I'm not someone who would be upset. Like I said, I like seeing women kick ass.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm okay with that.
I'd throw out the thing about the diversity, but
Yeah.
you're right. It is an Indonesian movie. So.
Totally is. Yeah.
If
It
you could
is.
replace somebody in this movie, who would you replace them?
I would
and who with?
replace. I would
You
replace
threw
the
some guys
general,
out there.
the white-haired guy.
Who
No.
would
I
you
didn't
replace?
like
Tom
him.
Atkins.
I would replace
With Tom
You
Atkins.
didn't. You didn't like Indonesian Robert Klein?
He was dressed like a friggin'. You know what he was dressed like?
I can't stop my leg.
He was dressed like
My leg
he was dressed like a fucking basketball coach through the whole thing.
Oh, like a ref.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he's wearing a
Threw
striped
me
polo.
off. He
Yeah.
looked like here's a bad guy. Here's all these awesome looking bad guys. Here's these tough looking good guys. Here's your uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just stepped off the golf course.
Forgot
That's
his
what it is.
tactical shirt.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah,
like he's
right.
out playing golf and somebody threw a vest on him and said, "Here, we forgot to cast this part.
Yeah.
Can you just come in and make a lot of sad faces?"
I don't have to dress like you.
I would have cast him
Peons.
with I would have changed that actor and cast the real Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Well,
I would've.
If he's still alive.
He is.
Is he?
He is. Yeah, he was at the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago.
but again, that was a tough pick. It wasn't one that bothered me enough to be like, oh, he ruins the movie or anything,
Yeah, yeah.
But if I had to, I just was looking for somebody.
Yeah.
If I had to, it would probably be that guy.
Yeah. I'm cool with the cast. I don't have any issues with it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think there's.
And I like not knowing people. Like I know
Yeah.
when it's a cast, like these types of movies are great because I'm not familiar with a lot of these
Right.
actors.
Yeah.
So it's like
And then it doesn't take you out of the movie when it's like,
Exactly.
oh, all of a sudden Matt Damon. Hey.
Yeah, right. And you're given the chance to like discover these dudes, and then you see
Yeah.
them in other shit, and you're like, oh, it's the guys from Raid.
Yeah.
They're going to kick serious ass in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like in Star Wars when they showed up on the ship with Han Solo.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
The good ship, Lolly.
Tell that to Conja Club.
Tell that to
And then these guys are on the other side speaking Indonesian, and it's like Han stuck in the middle.
With you.
You know the scene I'm talking
I
about.
know the scene.
Yeah.
Conja Club to the left of me, and
Culture Club to the right.
Okay. So
you want to come off that one? I'm
I was gonna. You said you had a what are you doing in this film?
Oh, I didn't.
No, that was him.
I didn't either, but
That was him.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're giving him
Ricky.
the award. The guy who looks like
That's
giving him
fine.
that,
Ricky
yeah.
Steamboat. I
Yeah.
didn't have anybody. There's too many.
Indonesian Robert Klein. I'm sticking with that
Indonesian
one.
Robert
That works
Klein.
too. Not Tom
Who's Robert
Atkins.
Klein?
That's what I'm calling him.
Who am I thinking?
Robert Klein, the comedian, the actor.
Robert Klein.
Ronald Reagan.
He
the
was
actor?
in was it Tales from the Hood with the gargoyle?
Oh yeah, Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side. He
He's
was
his
the
agent.
agent.
He's the
Oh,
agent.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the
All right.
writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
MVP.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog wins it
Mad
for
Dog
you.
wins it for me, man. That fight scene,
Yeah.
and that character, the lines he had,
Mm-hmm.
that
And
guy.
I think he choreograph the movie. Did
I
he do
don't
the
believe
fight
so.
scene?
No, I don't
believe
think he
it
did.
now.
All right.
We can look it up. I can Google that shit.
The ultimate Carl.
He looks like he would not be that threatening. Or
No.
like
What makes him
if
great.
I saw him, I'd be like, oh, I'll fuck this dude up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he would just destroy me.
And his
Yeah.
Him
second,
and the other, him and the second guy in John Wick 3. When
Oh,
they,
yeah,
when they
the
go
two
to
little
fight
dudes.
him, yeah,
Yeah.
they are. They're like little and
Yeah.
they don't seem threatening at all.
But it's
Yeah.
not.
But they're wiry.
Yeah. Right.
he's hairy.
Wiry.
and they are hopped up on friggin'
Goofballs or
cocaine,
something.
like goddamn Scarface, because boy, he does not go down no
Nope.
matter what you do.
Nope.
It's like when they're shooting Al Pacino at the end, and he's still coming at him.
And
Same
He's
thing
got.
here.
I mean, he earned the name, right? But I will say, like, it's convincing.
Yeah.
I'm convinced he can do these things as much as when you see him, you're like, oh, who's this ratty little
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you see him fight, you're like, oh, this guy's fucking.
And he shows up in part 2.
And he shows up in part 2.
Oh,
yeah,
and he's a
yeah,
badass
he's a
in
different
part 2
character.
as well. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he's
a
okay.
different
Yep.
character.
Is he your MVP too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Mine's
He's
Rama.
Rama's good.
Yeah,
Rama's
he's
toss up
awesome.
between.
I just
Yeah,
over his
I almost
overall
picked him.
performance.
Yeah.
He
but there's
is-
something about a really cool bad guy.
Yeah.
So collectively, the two of them, Rama and the Mad Dog character,
Yeah.
choreographed the large portion of the fights.
Oh, cool. So they did.
Yes.
How about you?
I
Tino?
gotta go straight up fight scenes.
For the
Win this
MVP?
fucking movie.
Just
I
over
think
character.
out of the MVP, I could watch them forever.
I could too. Fair
And
enough.
they're just long enough, but not too long. Like I don't get tired midway through any of the fights where I'm like, oh, this is kind of dragging.
I didn't get tired, but I was getting annoyed because I was so into it with the Mad Dog fight and the two brothers. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, knock him down. What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
Don't
Hurry up
fucking
and win.
turn away. You know he's going to get up. This is the 9th fucking time
Yeah.
you've done that.
Yeah.
But it was because I was into the fight scene. So that's
Yeah,
not
I could-
not a
I
criticism.
could
I
totally
just want to
see
say,
that too.
speaking of long fight scenes, I'm bringing this back to our appetizer section. I am so surprised that nobody had They Live.
Oh, I thought Mark was gonna have it.
didn't
I
even
did
think
too.
of it.
Yeah.
Fuck,
And that's why I didn't
Yeah,
pick it,
that's
because
why I
I
didn't
really
think
thought
either.
that one of
Didn't
you
even
guys,
think
and
of
I
that
shit.
forgot about bringing it up earlier, and then you just said a too long fight scene. I'm like, that fucking thing was
Slipped
10
my
minutes
mind.
long.
The Roddy Piper and,
Yeah.
and Keith
Yep.
David. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought
Fighting
I
over
was
the
like, oh, Mark will
sunglasses.
pick that, so I don't need
Put
to.
the goddamn sunglasses on.
I don't know. It just never popped in my head as an action scene, or even though it is.
It's a
but
fight scene.
It is a fight scene,
Yeah.
but it never
It's
never
great.
made the
It's
list.
Brutal. They're fucking
Yeah.
dead tired.
It's hilarious, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
end.
They
Yeah.
stop because he apologizes for hitting his car. Oh man, I'm sorry. All right,
That's funny you brought it up. I was.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, I
I
didn't-
know,
I was
and
like,
I meant to bring it up earlier, and I forgot.
good call.
I had a new category. How does it stack up? How does it stack up against your favorite action film? How does it stack up against your favorite kung fu film,
That's
martial
right.
arts film?
It's right up there
What do
with
you
my
think?
favorites.
What do you got up there?
Right, for favorite martial arts movies or just action movies?
Sure, either.
In general. Well, the ones I listed, Hard Boiled.
Yeah.
Totally up there with that one. The hell, it's a silly movie, but I fucking love it. Shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up is
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
as
that's
well.
a good
Yeah. That's a fun ass
Yeah.
movie.
That's a good one.
I absolutely love that one. I talk about Hard
Paul- is that
Target
the one
all
with
the
Paul
time.
Giamatti?
Target.
That's
Yeah.
what Paul
Giamatti,
Giamatti.
right?
and
Clive
Yeah,
Owen.
that's a good one.
I talk about hard-boiled all the time. It's more comical for me and more entertaining, but it has legit. Those would probably be the three. And like I said, Desperado. Oh, El Mariachi.
El Mariachi.
Is
The original
fucking
Desperado,
one of my favorite action films
Great
of all
action
time.
movie.
And this, I mean, it's a higher production value, so I guess you have to say it tops it. But both of them are just one continuous shootout with very little breaks. So
done well.
So yeah.
What about you, sir?
It's up there. It's up there. I mean, Kung Fu Hustle is still my favorite Asian martial arts movie, but this is definitely number 2. I think every fight sequence in this movie is fantastic. The realisticness of it.
Realism. Call it realism.
The realism. That's
Yeah.
reality of it all.
Yeah, don't say realisticness and
Realisticism.
Sorry.
yeah.
Stickism.
Yeah, the realism.
For real in real life. That's what
Yeah,
my
it
kids say.
just and I kind of want to stack it up against Punisher Warzone and Dread because it's very, very similar with like the whole apartment building and one man army going in, and I think that it's the better of the three. I think Dread probably is a very close 2. I think it's probably the better of the other two, as far as like an Americanized version of this movie.
Would you consider Attack the Block?
I've never seen Attack the Block.
You never did?
No.
Oh.
No, I haven't.
You
I haven't
do. That's
watched
how I watched it.
It's in my TV.
You had never seen it, right?
No, I've seen it, but I
you
haven't
just
seen it
want
since
to
it
watch
came
it.
out.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in my never watched playlist.
That might be.
Gotcha.
That might have to
Movies
be
that I
one
need to
that we see.
I'll watch it again tonight if you
Dude,
guys
totally.
watch it.
That
Yeah.
movie's awesome.
Those. Go ahead. I'll let you answer.
No, this
Stack
one's
up.
definitely up in my rotation. I own it now. I ended up buying it. For anybody curious, it's available for $4.99 now to buy on Amazon Prime.
And you can get both on Vudu for $14.99.
Okay,
that's what I did.
All right. Well, the second one's streaming on Netflix now. So if you got Netflix, you can see it. Yeah. But unfortunately, the first one is not streaming anywhere.
I don't trust the streaming sites anymore.
Yeah, no, because it moves around so much.
Yeah.
But no, this is definitely up there in my rotation now. It's up there with all the action movies that I love, and a bunch of them are going to be on my what's making my Geek Flag Fly list because of this movie. I watched a ton of action.
Inspired you. That's what I
It
like
did.
to hear.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I did like all weekend long.
That's what I was trying to
Not
do
just
last
the movie,
week, but I
Tito,
failed.
No, you didn't fail. I know
inspired
it
me.
came across like I was really harsh.
I was
on-
inspired.
I know you were. I know I sounded really harsh on the dragon
You don't
movie.
even know what the fuck it's called. It's fine.
I don't. I keep wanting to say Enter the Dragon, but I know that's not the last dragon. I didn't hate it. It was just more goofy than I was expecting.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
This is, I think, one of the best, at the very least in like the last 10 years, one of the best action films ever made.
Oh, totally.
And it ranks up there.
And there's
for
been
me
some
as-
really good ones
There's
lately,
a
too.
lot of really, probably within that last 10, 15 years, I'm going like this, John Wick.
Oh yeah. I
Matt-
forgot about John
I'm
Wick.
going
How
like
could I forget about
Fury
Yeah.
Road. Fury Road is a fucking phenomenal
Oh,
action
we didn't have
movie.
any of the Fury Roads sequences on our list.
I almost did.
When
but
he
like
fights
that whole
Charlize
movie is like
Theron,
one long
it's one
action
nonstop
scene.
chase, yeah.
It's
I almost did the Eleanor scene in Gone in 60 Seconds.
okay.
That was
yeah.
more cars.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll save
Yeah,
that for when
I was
we
trying.
do
I was trying to
like
stay
a
away from car
chase
chases.
appetizer.
Exactly.
But now that I think about it, shit, Romeo Must Die. There's 100 action
There's a
scenes
great-
that I love.
yeah.
The football game in
The
that
football
movie
game.
is
Is there a
hilarious.
water hose? Is that
I think
in that
so.
movie?
I
Yes.
think that's
Yep.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never
Oh,
seen
Fire
Romeo
hose?
Must Die.
But I've seen the
house
house.
that
I knew you were going to go there. No, I really haven't. I've never seen
Yeah,
Romeo
like
Must
a-
Die.
Oh man, well
range.
that's another after
good flick.
podcast. Oh,
That's a really
movie's
good
Do you have
so
that one?
fucking good.
Yeah,
DMX.
I have that
Right.
and Cradle to the Grave, which is another DMX Jet Li movie.
Oh, all right.
Oh right.
Yeah.
They did do. Yeah. Is
And that one's pretty good.
Cradle to
Yeah,
the
that was a
Grave?
good too.
That's
huh?
pretty good.
Ja Rule in that one, Cradle to the Grave, or is it Exit
he might
Wounds?
be.
I don't remember. Might have been
Maybe
Exit
it's Exit
Wounds
Wounds.
with Van Damme.
Exit Wounds was
No.
Exit
No,
Wounds was Steven
Seagal.
Seagal.
Steven
and
Seagal. What's the
DMX.
one with Van Damme and Dennis Rodman?
Oh, it's knockoffs.
Knockoffs.
Yeah. Where they sell fake
Fucking
clothing.
Dennis
It was a thing.
Knockoffs.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
We were just doing. We were pairing everybody up.
Yeah, we were just doing it.
We were just, whatever.
Throw it against the
Whatever,
wall.
whatever.
See what sticks.
But yeah, one of my all-time favorite action films, and especially of this last generation of films. And then Fast Five, I got to throw in there too. I think is a phenomenal action movie. And yeah, it's one of my favorite kung fu films, at least of this generation. It's hard because of the fight choreography, so dominant by comparison. You know, as much as I love Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Mark for Death, those movies, which I think have really great fight scenes, like seeing this is just like Jesus Christ. You know, it's like Michael Jordan versus whoever.
It cranks it up to 11.
Yeah, right. It's all the way.
I didn't mention A Fistful of Yen from Kentucky Fried Movie.
That's right.
That actually has some great martial arts in it.
And then finally, if you were going to make a sequel, which there's a sequel of this movie, but let's say you would make your own sequel, how might that go?
Well, I haven't seen the sequel yet, so I don't know who lives and who dies. But if I were to make a sequel, there was this whole thing about the general being tipped off or sending these people to... It sounded like there were more people involved, a higher power, a government, a syndicate, whatever the hell you want to call it, that were really...
Well, and the big bad guy...
that were really pulling the strings.
Yeah, it says that there's
Buddha.
It was Buddha. That's
Buddha
fine.
this whole time.
Evil Buddha.
I would like
They're
to
Muslim.
do...
I'm sorry, I take that back. They're Muslim in Indonesia.
I would reunite the two brothers and have them go after the people responsible for everything that happened in this movie. You know, take the higher ups, continue. You conquered this level. Now get to the castle and save the princess from.
The princess is in a different castle.
Yeah,
you've got to go to.
I would like to see. I would like to see them fight more together. There wasn't a lot of that in there. I understand why, but they both looked like they could, kick some ass, and they did take out Mad Dog. And I'd like to see what else they could do. I love, I talked about in The Last Dragon. I love team ups. I love team
Johnny
fighting
and
so,
Ernie Reyes going.
and so I would like to see something like that. That would be me. I don't have a whole synopsis.
No, that's fine.
I do feel like there were some shadow figures in here, more people pulling the strings, and definitely would like to go there. I want to know more about the corruption.
The world behind.
Exactly.
Yeah, how they ended up there.
Do you want me to go before Derek reads his novel?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, I didn't do one of those. Sorry, we don't do that anymore.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah, Derek, you don't see me writing anything long or 2 pages. Jesus.
What do you got over there?
What do you got?
No, similar. Well, my real answer was what he was getting at.
Plagiarism.
No, more so going after the rest of the crooked cops, as opposed to what I read from the synopsis of the second one, which is more undercover, going against more gangs.
Yeah.
I probably would have done that, or I would have made Bullet Train.
Bullet Train.
I would have put Rama on a train.
Dude,
and
I still haven't seen that. I hear really fun things about it.
fun.
Yeah.
You just watched it.
That's another one with some really
save it for Geek Flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
very surprising.
My
fight
kid saw it.
scenes
He
in
was
that
telling
one.
me to watch it.
Yeah.
You got a sequel for this bad boy?
I kind of do. So the brother,
Andy.
Thank you. I wanted to call him Tony, but it's Andy. He ends up taking over the apartment building. He doesn't doesn't change his ways. He takes over for the drug lord, and in the sequel, Rama has to go in and really redeem his brother.
Oh, wow.
And really bring him out into the light.
Got that dark side kind of thing. Yeah, the Force.
It would have been Raid 2, more redemption.
Well, it should have been just the Raid, and then
Even
I think the
Redemption
sequel
here?
should have been called Raid Redemption.
Yeah.
Every time I see,
I always thought, I'm like, where's the first one?
dude, me too.
Like, there's two. There's Redemption.
And I think that's why it took me so long, because every time I saw Raid Redemption, I'm like, well, I'm waiting for the first one. You know, Raid Redemption's on, but I just want to see the Raid.
There was supposed to be a third one, but he left Indonesia.
Who's this? The Gareth guy?
Yeah. So he talked about it for years doing it, but then at the end he thought, when you see 2, he felt like he wrapped it up. So he was like, I don't know that I need to expand on this. But maybe it'll come back
Well, that's
around.
smart. Go out on a high note, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's
Not
doing a lot of
everything
really
has to
cool
be
stuff.
A trilogy. And look how many people tried to make a trilogy, and the third one ended up sucking.
Yeah,
I swear I didn't know.
that's true.
Oh, that's okay, dude.
Stole your synopsis, right?
No.
My sequel is Rama gets YU, the sergeant, to the precinct, and then a war erupts, and he has to fight all the dirty cops.
That's awesome.
To try to get to internal affairs.
Oh, it becomes like Assault on Precinct 13.
He's trying to get to internal affairs, but he's got to fight his way through all the cops.
Nice.
Him and the fucking guy who's dying. Oh, we'll get him out of that movie. He doesn't need to be in that movie.
Yeah.
He's in the hospital now.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite, how you make action scenes cool. How about if I'm carrying a guy who's half dead while I fight these people? Like that's how you make an action scene. Fucking
well,
cool.
dude, again, shoot him up. Clive Owen's got the baby throughout this whole
got the
movie.
baby.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about
which is
that.
awesome.
She's breastfeeding it. Yeah, there's a lot of weird. That movie's so weird, but it's very fun.
It's very
fun.
But it was just cool seeing Paul Giamatti play a bad guy like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I always, he's always going to be remembered as Pig Vomit, and that kills me because he's such a good actor.
Great actor,
and he's
Did you guys see John Dies at the end?
Yeah,
he was a bad guy in that one too.
Don, Phantasm director.
Yeah.
Don Coscarelli, great movie.
Oh, that's what, like the sausage
The
monster.
soy sauce.
Yeah, the soy sauce. Yeah.
Clancy Brown's in it.
Is there a meat monster though? Is
It's-
that what
it's
the
a
monster's
meat
called? Soy
monster.
sauce.
The drugs are called the soy
is
sauce.
The drug
Oh
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
take.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but there
okay.
is a meat monster.
Okay, yeah.
You never saw it?
It's weird. It's cool.
Excellent. It's
I always
it's
felt I
weird.
didn't have to. I know that John dies at the end.
That's what's so cool.
The
about
fun
it.
part is seeing how it
Yeah.
happened.
You went and saw Titanic, right? You knew how that was. What, it fucking sinks at the end? I had a friend who got up at the end of the theater and did that. He was like at the end of the movie. It was right when Leo's dying too. You could hear all the girls sobbing, and he gets up. He's like, "Fuck this! What? The fucking boat sinks!" No.
I was actually hoping it missed it.
Did not see that coming.
I was hoping it didn't hit the iceberg. I can't lie. I was like, maybe this
Maybe
time.
this
it won't
time.
Hit the iceberg.
I was okay with it.
Maybe this time.
Not the actual thing. I was okay with Leo. I wasn't a Leo fan like I kind of am now. I'm seeing some.
I was probably more of a fan of his back then. Than
Were you? No,
I've become more of a fan
I was
of his
all like,
again.
oh,
ever
cute,
since,
cute, pretty boy. Get the fuck down there
Hollywood.
in the ice. Get the fuck down in the ice.
You know, it's funny you say that, Tito, because I love the Blues Brothers. And I don't know how many times I've seen the Blues Brothers, but there's this scene where they're being chased in the car through Chicago, and they turn up this alley, and the camera is down low, and it's almost like right in front of the camera lens is this like wooden case of like old style beer bottles, the glass bottles, and the car is like within inches of it. And every time I see it, it's like, well, maybe this time he's going to run over those bottles. That would be so satisfying, and it doesn't. And I'm all disappointed. He still doesn't hit the beer bottle.
Next time.
Next time. Seriously, and it's like the shit goes through your head. It's like I'm focused on those beer bottles, and I know the car is coming, and maybe this time. Maybe this time.
You're like Sarah with the end of Back to the Future. Every fucking time when that cable comes undone at the end, she's like this, and the end.
I know, what happened.
Honey, you've seen this movie hundreds of times. You know he's gonna get back okay. Yeah. We might not this time though. Doc might not get down there in time. So
that's what's so great about yeah.
That'd be a great marketing thing.
I know.
Just throw out some copies of that movie.
Where he doesn't make it.
Yeah, it just ends.
And Marty crashes into a building
explodes
because the car didn't go forward in time. He crashes into the theater.
And then
that's a marketable idea.
Shoot to 1985, and the world is just on fire. Right? There's like nothing. Everyone's dead,
except for Buck Flowers.
Except for Buck Flowers
and Einstein. Buck Flowers and Einstein sing on a bench. Right? Crazy apocalyptic world. That's my
right, you are.
All right. That is Raid, the Redemption.
Great pick, Tito.
Yes,
awesome
excellent pick again.
Yep. And one I had not seen, glad I did.
Yeah, I was sitting in my room and we had talked about Gleaming the Cube, and I was like,
"Oh, that's what
Raid
it was."
The Redemption.
I couldn't remember
in the
now.
room looking at the wall.
I was thinking about the movie, and I was just like, I was staring at the wall.
Or a plate of toast.
Yep. And then the toast fell out of my hand, and I was like, Raid Redemption, and it hit. And it
hit
broke.
a can of Raid.
It was like Chaz Palminteri
the
and
coffee
The Usual
cup.
Suspects, and it just shattered.
I'm
or
smarter
Chaz
than
Palminteri
you,
and Last Dragon.
Or Chaz and the Last
Did you know
Dragon.
Chaz Palminteri was in this movie too? He was
He is.
he was
He's
one of the guys.
He's the limo driver.
Yeah, he was
What's making everybody's geek flag fly?
Who wants to go?
Well, I'll start it off because, like I alluded to earlier, because of this movie, I went down an action movie rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking earlier about how this movie is so similar to Attack the Block and Dread, both of which movies are on Derek's Voodoo account. So in the show notes, we'll put down his password so everybody can know. So no,
you have to schedule times to watch.
Yeah, because Derek will kick you out if he wants to watch something. So I watched those two movies, and after I watched that, I decided to watch Raid 2, and then I was still in the mood for more action movies, so I started watching some of my old favorites. I watched The Gentleman.
Oh, that's a funny
movie. See that.
Yep, it's the Guy Ritchie one.
That's Guy Ritchie.
That's
Yeah.
his latest one.
Yes, that's another one in my haven't seen it list.
You haven't watched it yet either?
Watched it
Oh
yet,
shit,
no.
watch it. It's on your list. I
What's
watched
the blonde guy? What's the blonde guy's name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. No.
The one from the motorcycle show.
Charlie Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, from Pacific Rim.
He's awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
And I hate Hugh Grant, but Hugh Grant's
Grant's wonderful in that
hilarious.
movie. Yeah.
He's so good.
I do like Hugh Grant.
And because I watched The Gentleman, I was in the mood
Most of
for
his
something
movies
British,
suck,
so I watched.
so charmingly befuddled.
Sorry, Brian. Yeah.
Because I watched The Gentleman, I was in the mood for something British, and I didn't want to start getting into James Bond, so I figured something a little bit more modern, and I ended up watching The Kingsman and The Kingsman Golden Circle. The sequel.
I don't have The Kingsman.
Oh, the one with the
That's
cowboys?
good.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah, that is a fun one.
Yeah.
And I forgot all about Elton John being in it, and he's an absolute scream.
yeah.
So good. I forgot how good that movie was, and I think I only saw it a couple of times as compared to the first one, which I had seen countless times. I'm trying to think if there were any other ones that I watched. Probably not, because it's only been a couple of days.
That's pretty good, though.
That's not bad.
I'm gonna give you
I
some
like
more.
that rabbit hole you fell down.
It was quite the rabbit hole.
I saw Glass Onion with my wife the other night.
Oh, good.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Funny. I still like the first one a little bit better, just because of the setting.
Oh, in the old house?
Yeah. Like I liked. If you were gonna do a second one, if you're gonna do a second one, then they did it absolutely the right way. And I thought everybody was really, really funny, and good. And I'm like 50-50 Edward Norton. Sometimes I absolutely love him.
I'm with you, Tito.
Same exact.
I'm with you.
And I thought he was good, but I didn't.
I lean more towards not liking him, and then he surprises me like, oh, he's not so bad.
Yeah, there's some.
Well, and he
that I
played the
absolutely
type of
love
guy
him
that I
in.
feel like he probably is in this movie.
That's what the whole time I was watching. I was like, I bet he's like that in real life.
Well, you know what? After watching that movie, I'm thinking it's the same character he played in The Italian Job.
Yes.
Where he took all of his best friend's ideas and everything that they wanted for himself.
That's right.
You know, he was he's such a schemer. He had no imagination.
I didn't even think of that.
Like everything that all the other guys wanted was to
Spanish
buy with their
the
money.
Giant radio.
Yeah. What's his name?
The Aston Martin.
Not Nas.
Most
F. Yeah. He wanted like a closet for all his shoes, a big house with all the shoes, and Ed Norton took that, and Seth Green wanted the stereo that would blow women's clothes off, and he took that.
That didn't age well. I love that movie. That's one of those movies that I wish they kept making sequels, because that could have been.
They were supposed to make one. I think it was supposed to be like the Brazilian Job or something like that. And it never happened.
That could have been a huge franchise.
Yeah, I know.
I loved all those characters.
But check out the original with Michael Caine.
Far superior.
Don't forget.
Far superior.
A lot of people didn't know I was in the first one.
They should have made him the Donald Sutherland character.
That would have been cool.
That would have been
very. That would have been very meta there.
Yeah.
That would have made sense.
That's right.
The only other thing that's making my geek flag fly, fantasy football
I was
champion,
gonna
baby.
say, still working.
So
whose Dan is this?
So you're bringing it up. So I guess
I'm the fucking champion.
You are the champion.
Brian.
The champion.
So all right,
I'm gonna tell you what.
how bad did this incident on Monday night affect?
Oh, it's ruining fantasy football for a lot of people.
I know, but that's I was worried about you.
So here's the
you
thing.
were my first thought.
I appreciate
Kill
that.
us
You
about
were
the
my
football
first
player, but
No, yeah, we don't. I don't.
All right, funny story. Funny, not funny. So I'm down here watching whatever action movie I was watching, and I get a text from my buddy at work, Paul.
Yeah.
And he's, like me, a huge fan of The Onion and the headlines and stuff. So they had an Onion headline that had just come out like a day or so before. I don't know when it was, but it was like so prophetic. It was like, a bunch of like officials bringing out the corpse of a player.
Oh my God.
And he's like, dude, he says, talk about, prophetic. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I thought about you, because now I'm like, I don't have ESPN, and I didn't know that the game was right.
I was watching Raid at the time.
Right.
And
so I wasn't
sent
watching
me
the game,
clip.
so I had to go online. And I'm
Yeah.
like, holy fuck, he's only 24.
The only reason I wasn't watching the game is because at that point I had already won. So it didn't even matter. It didn't matter, so I didn't watch the game. And somebody sends me a text and is like, oh, hey, this is crazy. He's been on the field lying there for 9 minutes. And I'm like, who? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I see the clip and I'm like, oh, God.
Uh-huh.
But so, I again, obviously, he's hopefully going to be okay. But
I hope so.
This is, when it's coming to this, it's like a lot of people have a lot of money on the line in fantasy for their season.
Yeah.
The game gets canceled.
Yeah.
I luckily didn't, I have Joe Burrow, the quarterback.
Okay.
and he was the last guy I had playing, but I was winning by 40 points, and that guy had nobody else left to go, so it doesn't even matter. He could score 0. I almost didn't even play him just to be a prick and say, like, I could beat you without a player, because I have it in me sometimes. But I didn't. I left him in because I wanted to beat him by 60. And but yeah, so Mike Freeman is in a situation where he was winning with one guy left. That guy was playing Monday night. The game stops, so Mike Freeman suggested splitting the pot with the guy, because they may not play this game.
Yeah,
it may not happen.
I know.
It did not affect me.
And we're supposed to play the Bills on Sunday.
And Pats are playing the Bills on Sunday. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of implications for the game.
That'll be a quick game.
Not to get too into it. Fantasy football champion 2022, and I fucking steamrolled everybody in this league. If you're out there listening, you know who you are.
Well, congratulations to
that's making my geek flag fly and glass onion. But
I'm glad all our know-how and knowledge have rubbed off on you.
You know what? It was probably for the better, because if you guys did play fantasy, you might just like poison my brain with like advice. You might just be like, "Oh no, maybe you should," and I'd be like, "Yeah, maybe I should."
I have two things. Both movies, both really good movies. The first one I saw finally was Barbarian. Which
it was good, wasn't it?
Awesome.
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Holy shit, is it frightening? It is very scary and very
Sucks
awesome,
to be Justin Long in a horror
powerful
movie, doesn't it?
ending. It
Was
does
he
suck
in that?
to be.
Yeah.
He's in that?
Yeah. No, he doesn't do well in horror films, and
He dies a lot.
He does well. I don't want to give anything.
Or
away.
gets stitched up into a walrus.
Yeah.
Fuck
that too.
movie.
Or gets stitched up into a wall.
Shit.
Was that Kevin Smith?
That was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
That was
was.
Kevin Smith?
I can't
Yeah.
believe, that movie has such a great following too. I feel bad, but because
For the following?
well, yeah, because they like it. Had you seen it?
I have.
Okay, so I'm not going to give anything away, but I will say it's got awesome scares in it. It's I saw this with Sarah. We went to my friend's house for New Year's Eve. We put it on. Holy crap! Even with a bunch of people talking during it, we were affected by it. It's got
very misleading.
Some powerful moments.
It really is
to
misleading.
and it is. And,
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I
it's
like
a-
it. I like it for that
I like
fact.
it too.
Yeah.
Polish.
Yep.
Very well written.
It totally doesn't go the way you think it's
Great
going to go.
cast.
Who's the director?
I don't even. No, I don't fucking know. I wish I did now.
Donald Lowe?
Because, yeah, it's done. It's done.
like
It's
you're
done
gonna
now. It's done.
Gareth Edwards.
It's Donnell Luge.
Zach Kreger.
Thank you.
Zach Kreger?
Directed by Zach Kreger.
Oh, I know this dude.
You know, and you got Pennywise in it there. Bill
Sarsgaard.
Yeah. And he's great in it too.
fantastic.
Definitely see this movie. This is one of the best horror films I have seen in a very long time.
And it's streaming on.
It is streaming
on Peacock, right?
On HBO.
That's on
Is it
HBO?
HBO?
HBO
Oh, all
Max.
right.
Yes.
Oh, Smile is on Peacock.
Smile is on Peacock.
That's one I
another
just
movie,
watched. Yeah.
which is phenomenal.
I
as
finally
well.
got to see Smile.
Excellent movie. Some great horror is coming back. I'm very happy. Another movie that I absolutely fucking loved, Bullet Train. I heard this movie was phenomenal, and I was afraid they were overhyping it. No, they're not. This is a
We
phenomenal
don't overhype things.
We never
Mark.
Oh,
do.
we don't, but some people
We'll
do.
never steer you wrong.
No. It might
Agreed.
be the best movie I've seen of 2022. I'm throwing that out
Oh,
there.
I definitely got it.
That's high praise, man.
It's up there with, the Batman I thought was phenomenal. I mean, any movie that sticks with you after you see it. There've been a lot of
got a great
good
cast.
movies I saw, but
Yeah, it
Bullet
really does.
Train, I wanted to watch it again right away. And that rarely happens.
Yeah.
So that's it. See those two movies. Derek?
Ubisoft. I've been on a Star Wars kick lately, and Ubisoft had announced this game. They were creating this game a couple of years ago, but then it went dark. No one ever heard anything. But they're teasing a big announcement this year for the they're creating an upcoming Star Wars game that's an open world game, like an Assassin's Creed or Red Dead Redemption, Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto, which that would be cool. I think that it's brilliant. And,
Yeah. And a long time coming.
yeah, and Ubisoft is also the company that's behind the Assassin's Creed games, and I love the Assassin's Creeds. But they have such great stories. I mean, it's great, and the animation, the graphics in these games is awesome. The combat and all that. But the story behind it is really, really cool, and it's a really cool
actually,
premise.
I never got past the first game. The repetition of the game, I lost the thrill.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, just I know not as cool as the usual stuff that we talk about, but
But if you're a video game
nerd,
nerd, then absolutely.
Yeah, gotta spread the geek love.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else?
Nope.
No.
All right, cool. Awesome. So, folks, this wraps up another episode of Three Geeky Dads, another Tito pick. Again, thank you, Tito. Awesome job. If you need to hear Tito's first pick or want to go back to when Tito first joined us
Last
one year ago, Brian, where can they go to?
We're everywhere.
We are. We are. We're a rash.
Yes, but we are available everywhere that podcasts are available. But we like to point everybody towards our hub, which is basically www.3gdpodcast.com. That's www.
The number 3.
gdpodcast.com. And like Mark said, you'll be able to find all of our past episodes there. So our social media links are there, along with one-click buttons where you'll be able to subscribe to us. If you're not already a subscriber, you will be able to subscribe to us to the podcast platform of your choice. There's probably about 15 to 20 buttons there now. Like I said, we are basically everywhere podcasts are available. We also have a Ko-fi page. If you guys would like to make a small donation, it would be greatly appreciated. Donation that helps keep the podcast going. And I think that's basically it.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Tito's looking.
Cool.
He's online.
So next week we will be back with another pick from our very own Tito. Until then, for Three Geeky Dads, I'm Mark.
I'm Derek.
I'm Brian.
I'm Tito.
You sure are. Thank you, everybody, and keep watching the skies because I don't know.
Bang zoom.
Oh, shazoom. Shazam to the moon, Alice. Whatever. Fuck off. Good night, everybody. We're Three Geeky Dads.
Right? Because
we're pretty influential.
Dude, I'll ask my
Maybe you
wife
should do like me
sometimes.
and you know, in the draft a kicker for the second round like I did, and I have never lived it
Was it
down.
Steve Gostkowski?
Yeah. No, it was back when Vinatieri. That's how long it's been since I played.
He is good. Or was.
That was what the hell was that? When was the last time?
He played for Indy for a little while. So
When he was still with the Pats.
No, this was
he
back
played
when
for
he was
a long
with the Pats.
time.
Yeah.
He played for
Yeah,
a
but how
long
long
time.
has it been since he's been with the Pats?
I don't know.
Oh, because he played
been a
for
long
Indy
time.
for
That's what I
like
mean.
4 or 5
Yeah.
seasons.
I stopped doing fantasy football after that. 'Cause, they never. Dave
found out that
Dave, who's been on the show,
possible,
friend of the show.
Oh, we're never
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have him on again. Never.
He is big into fantasy.
Dave who?
football. And,
Yeah, I
The
would
guy-
have too.
the guy from
yeah, I
Ninja
would never
Turtles
let you live that day.
he still brings it up to
Draft
this
a
day.
kicker. I make fun of people who draft kickers in like the 10th round. I'm like, why do you even draft a kicker? They'll be there they'll be there next week.
I don't know what you're talking about, Derek. Even I wouldn't do that. So.
You won it. It's true. You won it.
I wouldn't at all.
Fucking stupid.
Had
Derek.
some great
I
scenes.
just can't get the Asians right.